races on tap for today's baby races as we
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another busy weekend of baby race action from Woodbine. Mohawk Park, there is the scene currently. Under overcast skies, it's been raining for much of the morning, but starting to clear, and that is expected to be the case throughout the rest of the day. A little bit cooler than it was a week ago, and wind, not much of a factor right now. If anything, slight headwind in the home stretch, whereas last week it was a tailwind and really pushing them home in the final quarters. It'll be a different scenario here this morning. But as mentioned, a busy day. We've got 12 races coming up for you. And we welcome you wherever you are tuning in this morning. Thank you for joining us. Greg Blanchard down here. We're in a different location today, getting out of the elements slightly, trackside. And Mark McKelvey, you're nice and dry upstairs in the booth. So, yeah, big difference from last week, Mark, where we had a total of 15 baby races over 2 days. This week up to 26, so a nice trend to see.
It certainly is, and we expected that it would pick up. There's always those trainers that have them primed and ready for that first week of baby races. We saw some good performances last week. I think if you joined us last week off the top of the show, we were highlighting those trainers that were loaded with plenty of horses to send out. Well, I think last week at the end of the show, we really touched upon the fact that it was a very professional morning, very good-looking horses out there. I don't think there was one superstar, so to speak, last week, but overall, we were really impressed, and hopefully that trend continues today. But like you mentioned, we're going to see a lot more over the next 2 days. 12 this morning, all 2-year-old fillies, and then tomorrow morning, 14 baby races, as we'll get a chance to take a look at the colts.
Well, one trainer that's always ready to go at this time of year with his youngsters is conditioner Greg McNair from just down the road in nearby Guelph, and always prominent certainly in the Ontario Sire Stakes program. He'll be prominent this morning, sending out a total of 9 starters here today. McNair, very accomplished when it comes to conditioning. He's got 2,400 career wins to his credit, 52 million and counting in purse winnings. He's got 9 starters, as we mentioned, out today, and that's just a portion of his rookie crop for this season. In total, $330,000 in yearling purchases on display. You know, and one of those guys, it's kind of strange to say, Mark, he flies a little bit under the radar. Maybe doesn't get the credit due to him that other guys get. He's not the flashy type guy, but year in, year out, here he is with top stakes competitors, and it looks like this year is going to be no exception.
Yeah, that's a real good point that you mentioned. Maybe he doesn't get the love that he definitely deserves. Always a big factor here locally, especially in the Ontario Sire Stakes, and every year you can count on the Greg McNair stable to make an impact, but maybe necessarily doesn't get those headlines as you talked about. You know, you look at a filly like Karma Sealster over the last couple of years. She's now a 4-year-old. She's racing in the Mares Preferred here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, but from 2 to 3, it's tough to keep a horse at that top level, and she was a filly that came out early on in her 2-year-old campaign, made some noise, and then last year we saw her winning the SBOA in November. So, the horsemanship, it was on display with a filly like that, and you can expect that Greg McNair will have a few good-looking 2-year-olds here today. He'll hope that they all look real good, but as you mentioned, probably just a sneak peek at a few more that he'll have to unveil over the coming weeks and months.
That's right. He'll be very busy, but not the only person. And on that note, I think a good lead into our poll question. We want to give you something to think about today. We'd love to hear from you again, wherever you're tuning in today. Let us know where you're watching from. We always find it interesting. People watching from all around the world online, and that's the beauty of that technology. But here's our poll question today. Want to know which of these trainers competing this morning do you expect to have the best group of rookie performers this summer? We give you 4 to choose from, 4 pretty prominent local conditioners: Greg McNair, Blake McIntosh, Dr. Ian Moore, or Bob McIntosh, or is it going to be somebody other than one of those? Have your say. Leave us a comment in the comments section, and again, let us know where you are tuning in from today. Big welcome to all of you watching live coverage this morning on COSA TV. And the starters are making their way out to the track here for qualifier number 1, Mark. So have a good morning up there, and we'll enjoy you calling the action, and Mark will be joining us today for commentary between races as well. Let's take a look at the field page now for qualifier number 1 this morning, the first of 12. The fillies take center stage here today, the 2-year-olds, both trotters and pacers, so a bit of a mix all morning long. We'll be on the trot for qualifier number 1, and there's a look at the field of 8 as they are scheduled to go. And as what is often the case on a morning like this, you'll get some late changes. We'll try and update those as we get them. Mark's right up there in the judges' stand in communication with today's AGCO official on hand overseeing the qualifiers, so he'll be able to get those changes just before they move in behind the starting gate. But there is the field of 8, and some nice looking individuals in here, including number 3, Pencils Down. This one, Mark, a daughter of Royalty for Life from the Dustin Jones stable, and this is a homebred. And the Damn Color Me Pretty, a Muscles Yankee mare that's been a very good producer, Mark. And this one will be a sibling to Don't Rush, a $750,000 winner. Just one of several out of this mare that have been good stakes performers for Dustin Jones.
Absolutely. And for Dustin Jones, another trainer that sometimes flies under the radar, always brings out a good crop of 2-year-olds, and typically on display with handle them in the qualifiers times before maybe lines. He had some success last year as well with some youngsters, so we'll be keeping our eye on pencils down. Royalty for life, as you mentioned.
That one certainly with a lot of pedigree potential. Real good tan, next door neighbor, daughter of Muscle Mass, post 4 today for Scott McEnany. Muscle Mass, what an outstanding year once again in 2020 for this stallion. The 4th leading stallion in North America for 2-year-old earnings. And by virtue of that was the leading sire in Canada last season as well, and perennially has been in that top spot the last couple of seasons. So starting gates in the backstretch, getting into position here as we get set for qualifier number 1. The number 2 Garden State Deo is the last one out on the track. This daughter of Trixton, a $35,000 yearling purchase. Jonathan McKinnon trains. James McDonald coming off a huge Thursday night in the driver's seat, Mark. Picked up, I believe, 5 winners last night on the card. Could do no wrong.
Really big night, and for James McDonald, he won 4 on Saturday night. So I'm less than a week, I should say, in less than a week, putting that 4 consecutive cards here at Wood. 4 wins on that on Saturday, and Tuesday, and also
all right, we apologize. We're having just some technical issues with Mark's microphone. We'll try and get those rectified, just cutting in and out. So we'll get our crack staff on that and try and get that rectified here this morning. So it looks like all horses and drivers on the track here for the first of 12 this morning. 2-year-old filly trotters in the opener. Another intriguing one is number 7, Angelonia, an Archangel filly from the Tagliabue mare Fabulous Tag. Made a miscue, unfortunately, last week in her first attempt behind the gate. Ian Moore, we're used to certainly seeing Ian with young pacers, but he's got a trotter here, and this one is a half-sister to the $1.5 million winner, Intimidate. Starting gate rolling. Here's Mark McKelvey with the call of qualifier 1.
Purchase. Trixton filly is owned by the stable, trained by Johnny McKinnon. James McDonald drives. 3 is Pencils Down. Dustin Jones is the owner, breeder, trainer, and driver of this Royalty for Life filly. 4, Real Good Tan, a Muscle Mass filly owned by Scott McEnany. Aristi Versakis, trained by Scott McEnany. Paul McDonnell drives. $30,000 Harrisburg buy. 5 is Macy's Muscles, a Muscle Hill filly. Mortgage Boys Stable owns Blake McIntosh, Princeton Farms, and Paul Van Camp. Blake McIntosh trains. Jody Jameson drives. $25,000 Harrisburg buy. 6 is Show Some Skin. She's a daughter of Muscle Mass, owned by the back stable David Hudson, Brad Grant, and Brilo Farms. Trained by John Bax. Matt Bax will drive. A $35,000 Lexington buy. 7, Angelonia, Archangel filly. Dr. Rhea Moore and Frank Cannon share ownership. Moore trains. Tyler Moore drives. $52,000 London purchase. And number 8 is Socks and Crocs, a Resolve filly. Greg McNair, M&S Racing Stable, Dean Lockhart, Paul Kidd, the owners. Greg McNair trains, Doug McNair will drive. $30,000 Harrisburg purchase. So they're off and trotting here, and we had a few breakers as we got this one underway. Meanwhile, Angelonia is just right out there to the early lead. Angelonia strides out to a quick 5-length advantage. Breakers before the start were Macy's Muscles and Garden State Deo. Onto the first turn, the trotting fillies will go, and Angelonia is all by herself here going into that first bend. Socks and Crocs races in second, getting away in third. That is Real Good Tan. On the outside is Macy's Muscles after making the break before the beginning. Then we go back to Pencils Down, who is followed by Seeking Salivation, Show Some Skin,
and Garden State Deo. 30 seconds flat was the opening quarter. That was 30 seconds even for Angelonia. She's on top by about almost 10 lengths, so everybody else was well back. And Macy's Muscle, she's got the experience having qualified for last week, and she's up into second and trying to track down the leader, looking to close that gap as they race up towards the half. In third is Socks and Crocs, and 2 lengths back to Real Good Tan in fourth. Fifth is Pencils Down, followed 6 by Seeking Salvation, shows some skin, and at the back of the pack is Garden State Deo. The half was 102-2. So that was 32-2 in the second quarter. Angelonia, who made a break last week in her debut qualifier, leads the way. Macy's Muscles is inching a little bit closer, 2.5 from the front. Then it's a break of about 7 lengths going back to Socks and Crocs. Real Good Tan gets underway. Will be tracked by Seeking Salvation. Down along the cones is Pencils Down. Then we go to Garden State Deo, and at the back of the pack is Show Some Skin. Angelonia having a little bit of steering difficulty as she is going out there, and now we'll come back down to the cones for Tyler Moore. 3 quarters, 132-2. So that was 30 seconds flat, same as the opening quarter. And Angelonia is going to try and close this one out. Macy's Muscles is back in second. Then we go back to the rest as it'll be a good battle for third. 1/8 of a mile to go, and it is the Archangel filly Angelonia who gets a little bit of separation here late, and she looks like she's going to be able to go coast to coast. Macy's Muscles is going to finish in second. Pencils Down is finishing up good for Dustin Jones, now moving up into third, and then a good battle on for fourth as it'll go to Real Good Tan over Seeking Salvation. 2:02 flat for Angelonia.
So Angelonia, the one that we talked about just before that first race went to the gate, is able to rebound after the break in stride last week in the first trip behind the gate in qualifying action, and behaves. And the filly winning impressively this morning in 2:02, 59-3 back half on a track that will be impacted a little bit with the rain that we had overnight and throughout the morning. And yeah, certainly showed good tactical speed, leaving the gate alertly, able to rate nicely in the middle half, and then turned on the jets with a 29-3 final quarter to seal the deal. This one, as mentioned, is a half-sister to the Breeders' Crown champion, $1.5 million winner Intimidate. Lefkada, another good performer, a winner of $150,000 in his career so far. So Angelonia, a winner in her second qualifier this morning for the combination of Dr. Ian Moore, son Tyler in the driver's seat for the victory. And Ian shares in the ownership of this one with Frank Cannon of Florida. The runner-up to Macy's Muscle, a Muscle Hill 2-year-old filly, Jody Jamieson and Blake McIntosh teaming up here. Blake, of course, had a good weekend here 1 week ago, and a good week too. Won several races at different venues around North America. Has got a good-looking prospect on his hands here. Pencils Down, we talked about the pedigree of that one. Excuse me, for Dustin Jones, the homebred. Dustin driving, finished third, but was wrapped up. I was able to get a good look at them coming to the finish from my vantage point, and that one had plenty of go at the end of the mile, and I think you'll likely see that one out once again for another qualifying effort, and we'll look for some further improvement next time from that one. Qualifier 1 in the books. Angelonia, the Archangel filly, stopping the clock in 2:02. Let's give you a look at the field page for the upcoming second, and we'll check in with Mark again in a moment for the rundown of that first qualifier. And there's a look at the field for the second. We're back on the trot. Another field of 8 will go postward in here. And there's a look at how they're going to line up on the gate. We'll touch on some of those horses in a moment. Right now, though, we're going to see if we can check in again with Mark McKelvey, see if we've got that microphone situation rectified. Mark?
First qualifier, 5:73, 4:86. Flat the time of the mile. Angelonia, 2000. A London yearling sale box. Ian picks right up from where he left off a week ago with baby races, as Angelonia takes it in 2:02.
Good point, Mark. Yeah, Ian had a big day here last Saturday specifically. Again, we're not used to seeing him with trotters per se, but here he is getting a win with Angelonia. They're leaving the paddock area now for qualifier number 2. Samosa's the number 1 at Cantab Hall. Filly, Paul McDonnell, Scott McEnany will team up with this $25,000 yearling purchase. Cantab Hall, the number 2 stallion in North America for 2-year-olds in 2020. Tioga Sunshine is the number 2 in the field. James McDonald, Harry Polton, a couple of Prince Edward Island natives teaming up with that one. The next door neighbor, Mystic Markle, a daughter of Il Sogno Dream from Mystic Madeleine. That'll be the 4th foal from that one. Desiree Jones does the training. Eddie Green driving. Il Sogno Dream, of course, a $1.2 million winner in his career, and now standing as a stallion, and has got one here that we're going to get our first look at. Shy Stella, next door neighbors, a Chapter 7 filly. Blake McIntosh, Chris Christoforou team up with this $40,000 yearling purchase. Classic Magic's the number 5 in the field, a Cadabra filly from Life Class, the Angus Hall mare, and that makes this one a half sibling to Life Well Lived, a $350,000 career winner. It's been a good one. Magic's Angel Eyes, next door neighbor, number 6, going to try and give Archangel a second consecutive winning credit here this morning. And this one from the Cadabra mare, It's All Magic. This is the 3rd foal from that one. The first 2 both made $50,000 plus and still going. So definitely some pedigree potential there. Cricket Hall is the number 7. Bob McIntosh in town today with a handful of babies to go. He'll team up here with driver Trevor Henry. $65,000 yearling purchase, sired by Cash Hall. Of course, Cash Hall was a great competitor on the racetrack for McIntosh. And Constance Hall, the dam, is a striking Sabra mare. And this one bred by Alan Levitt of Lexington, Kentucky, who retains part of the ownership with the Bob McIntosh stables. Completing the field in this second group is going to be Rosie's Masterpiece, the 8 full sister to $973,000 winner, Riveting Rosie. Good looking field of 8. Here's Mark with the call.
Paul McDonnell drives, $25,000 Harrisburg buy. 2 Tioga Sunshine, a muscle mass filly owned by the stable. Harry Polton trains. James McDonald drives, $18,000 Lexington buy. 3 is Mystic Markle, Il Sogno Dream filly. Dr. John Brown is the owner breeder. Desiree Jones trains. Eddie Green will drive. 4, Shy Stella, Chapter 7 filly, Hut Racing Stable, Blake McIntosh owned. Blake McIntosh trains. Chris Christoforou drives, $40,000 Lexington buy. 5 is Classic Magic, Sylvain Filion for trainer Jacques Dupont. This is a Cadabra filly owned by Les Curie d'Orleans, along with Gestion Levesque, Mark Cameron. $50,000 Lexington buy. 6 is Magic Angel Eyes. Donald Lashide is the owner breeder. Dave Maneri trains. Jody Jameson will drive this daughter of Archangel. 7 is Cricket Hall, Cash Hall filly. Bob McIntosh stables, Alan Levitt, and Mardon stables are the owners. Bob McIntosh trains. Trevor Henry will drive. $65,000 Lexington grad. And 8 is Rosie's Masterpiece, muscle mass filly owned by the stable. Mario Bayarjan trains and drives. $30,000 Lexington buy. So they're off and trotting here in the second baby race, and off stride goes number 6, Magic Angel Eyes. From the center of the gate, Classic Magic slides away well. Coming away with her is Mystic Markle. Down at the inside, Tioga Sunshine. On the outside is Rosie's Masterpiece. Then in behind them is Shy Stella. Samosa. Moving over to the pylons, Cricket Hall is unhurried in the beginning, and resetting after the break is Magic Angel Eyes. So the leader will be Classic Magic to the opening quarter, on top by a pair of lengths. That opening quarter was trotted in 30 and 4. Into the backstretch they will go, and the leader is Classic Magic. Mystic Markle is racing in second and is going to come around now for Eddie Green. Racing in third is Rosie's Masterpiece, followed fourth by Tioga Sunshine. Then we go back to Shy Stella in fifth. Sixth is Samosa, Cricket Hall, and Magic Angel Eyes caught up after the break, getting close to her nearest rival as they head up towards the half. Here on the outside, Shy Stella is attacking now for Christoforou. Not much speed here in the second quarter. The half was 104 30-3. That was off a 30-4 opener. So the new leader becomes Shy Stella. She was ready to go. She got her marching orders, and she just brushes to the lead now, and she is rocking by 5/8 on top by 3.5. Second is Mystic Markle. Then we go back to Classic Magic in third. Rosie's Masterpiece continues to trot fourth, followed by Tioga Sunshine. On the outside, Cricket Hall. Down along the inside, Samosa, and off-stride once again went Magic Angel Eyes. 3/4, 133-2. So they were trotting there, 28-4 in the third panel, and it is Shy Stella into the lane on top by about 5. Mystic Markle is back in second. Classic Magic is in third. On the outside, Rosie's Masterpiece. Then it's back to Tioga Sunshine, Samosa, and Cricket Hall. 16th of a mile to go, and it's the Chapter 7 filly Shy Stella. Made that big move on the far turn as they were entering it, and she'll take this one by a handful of lengths. Finishing in second was Mystic Markle. Third went to Classic Magic, 203-2 for Shy Stella. In second, Mystic Markle. Third went to Classic Magic, 203-2 for Shy Stella.
All right, there's a good slow-mo look at the winner crossing the finish line here in qualifier number 2. It's the 4, Shy Stella. Chris Christoforou in the driver's seat for trainer Blake McIntosh. This is one of a handful this morning that's back out for a second qualifier after facing the starting gate last weekend. And Shy Stella finished 5th in that debut effort. Raced pretty evenly last week, got away 5th and finished 5th, and stepped up substantially here this morning and handled more aggressively as well. Really professional effort, I thought, from the youngster. Made that snap move to the front in the second quarter of the race, taking advantage of that slowing second quarter half in just 104-3, but trots home with 58-4 back half speed. To click here, a $40,000 yearling purchase, the daughter of Chapter 7, a winner in her second qualifier. Nice effort there. Runner-up was Mystic Markle, the daughter of Il Sogno Dream for Eddie Green. And rounding out the top 3 was Classic Magic, in line to Sylvain Filion, the first leader of the race, and will hold on for 3rd. We'll shift gears now and turn our attention to qualifier number 3. And we're going to be on the pace for the first time this morning. And again, a chance for us to welcome you back in this morning, wherever you are watching around North America. Yeah, drop us a line in the comments and let us know where you're watching from today. It's a pleasure to have you with us on one of our various platforms. A big thank you again to COSA TV for making this coverage possible, and our friends at the Woodbine Entertainment Group as well. Here at beautiful Woodbine Mohawk Park, now a full week back into action after racing in the province resumed last weekend with full cards of racing, full slates of qualifying and baby races as well. And here we are this weekend with substantially more numbers in our second week of baby races as well. So the horses and drivers for qualifier 3 will be heading out to the track here in a moment. There's a look at them heading out from the paddock area. Meringue Sealster just had a brief look at that one a moment ago. Sunshine Beach, a daughter of Sunshine Beach, I should say, from the McCardle mare, Macapello Rose. This will be a second qualifier for this one, who finished 4th a week ago. Charted in 159-4, 28-second final quarter on that one. This one, a sister to the good Mayhem Sealster, career winner of close to $400,000 in her career. Just 24 starts for Mayhem Sealster, but she went 8 for 24 for conditioner Tony O'Sullivan and banked almost $400,000 during that time. Next door neighbor Cheryl's Shadows, Shadow Play filly from Astermoan. This one was bred out in BC by James Downer of Langley, British Columbia. Karma Osiello, Jonathan Drury, familiar combination on the circuit, will team up with that daughter of Shadow Play from post number 2. Farthest out on the gate, Hollywood Hanover. And I'm just getting a look at that one making its way from the paddock location. The daughter of the late, great Some Beach Somewhere. And talk about a regal mating here. Some Beach Somewhere and the $1.2 million winner, Hannah Hanover, teaming up with this one. She was in action last week for conditioner Blake McIntosh, and a good fourth in one of the quicker miles of the day, beaten only 3 lengths, paced her mile in 58 and 2 with 28-second final quarter speed on that day. A look there at the Bob McClure driven pupil, I Wish I Had a Mame. And this one is a daughter of sports writer from the Western Terror mare, Mystic Arrow. Kenneth Skinner conditions that one. Good look at her making her way from the track. So again, we're going to head upstairs, check in with Mark and see if we've got a better connection with him, Mark, and we'll get you updated on that second race rundown.
Yeah, let's see if we got things rocking. We can check out that rundown from the second qualifier. The bar following along was 5-6, 1-7-4. There was Shy Stella. I mentioned that filly. Nice follow-up from her debut. $40,000 buy. Wins it 3-2. Big move there just after the half where she made the front. From there, nice performance in the second.
All right, and getting a look at the last few horses making their way from the paddock location. Darby O'Gill is the number 3. Jacques Dupont, your trainer of this one. Sylvain Filion driving, a daughter of Sunshine Beach, owned by Les Écuries d'Orient. Gestion Lebec, also sharing the ownership of this one. And Sunshine Beach, certainly one of the prominent stallions in the OSS program in the last few seasons. And he'll be well represented, not surprisingly, here today. Some Beach Somewhere, as mentioned, has an offspring here in the number 8, Hollywood Hanover. His son, Captain Treacherous, represented in this group as well by Silent Crossing, the number 7. That's another from the Blake McIntosh stable. Doug McNair will get the driving assignment on that one. Hollywood Hanover, the number 8, talked a little bit about that one. The mare, Hannah Hanover, great one on the racetrack. She's been a pretty good producer as well. She has produced 3 winners of $150,000 or more, including the speedy Hayden Hanover with a career mark of 147-3 and closing in on $700,000 in career earnings. Our first look at Pacers this morning from Mohawk Park. Here again, Mark McKelvey.
Phillies. We are going to scratch number 5, Madrigal. Leaves us with a field of 7. The 1 is Meringue Sealster, a Sunshine Beach filly owned by Dominic Chiaravalli and Eugenio Chiaravalli. Dr. Ian Moore trains. Tyler Moore will drive. $37,000 London yearling buy. 2 is Cheryl's Shadow. She's the daughter of Shadow Play, owned by Cheryl Downer. Osceola Stables, Julia Clark and Amanda Clark. Carmen Osceola trains. Jonathan Drury drives. The 3 is Darby O'Gill, Sunshine Beach filly owned by Les Écuries d'Orleans. Gestion Levesque, Écurie CSL. Jacques Dupont trains. Sylvain Filion drives. $25,000 Harrisburg purchase. 4 All Electric is a sports writer filly owned by Barbara Lennox, Brenda Lothman, and Laura McKinney, trained by Friday Dean. Phil Houdon drives. $47,000 London buy. 5 is out. 6, I Wish I Had Me. Sports writer filly. Leo Baker is the owner breeder. Kenneth Skinner trains. Bob McClure drives. 7 is Silent Crossing, Captain Treacherous filly owned by Hutt Racing Stable and Blake McIntosh. McIntosh trains. Doug McNair drives. $30,000 Harrisburg purchase. And 8 is Hollywood Hanover, Some Beach Somewhere filly owned by 30 Plus Stable. Stan Klemenchik, Blake McIntosh. McIntosh trains. Jody Jameson drives. $60,000 Harrisburg purchase. So they're off and pacing here in the 3rd, and the 2-year-old pacing fillies get underway with Hollywood Hanover striding out to the early lead. In 2nd is Meringue Sealster. On the outside is Silent Crossing as they go into the first turn. I Wish I Had a Me. It gets away in 4th. 5th is Cheryl's Shadow. And then we go back to Darby O'Gill and the trailer, All Electric. The opening quarter was 29-1. 29-1 opener, courtesy of Hollywood Hanover. Qualified last week, did this daughter of Some Beach Somewhere. She finished 4th, 28-second final quarter. She sat basically 5th throughout. And this time around, she's going to cut the mile for Jody Jameson. She leads by a length and a half. Meringue Sealster in second, third, a Silent Crossing. I Wish I Had a Me is then in fourth, followed fifth by Cheryl's Shadow. Six up the backside, Darby O'Gill, and the trailer is All Electric as their single file past the half in a minute even. 30-4 in the second quarter. Onto the far turn they go, and Hollywood Hanover is showing the way. One of two in here for trainer Blake McIntosh. Meringue Sealster getting the two-hole trip, trying to stay right with the leader. Break of 2 and a bit, going back to the other McIntosh trainee, Silent Crossing. Cheryl's Shadow is underway and moving on the outside now up into fourth. I Wish I Had a Me is inside fifth. To the outside comes Darby O'Gill, and All Electric is seventh, three-quarter time, 1:28-4. So a 28-4 third quarter there for Hollywood Hanover, who leads them into the stretch. Meringue Sealster called upon as she's now 2 lengths away from the leader. On the outside is Cheryl's Shadow, who is making up some ground. Silent Crossing in fourth, and I Wish I Had a Me back there in fifth. 16th to go. Hollywood Hanover's got some company. Cheryl's Shadow coming on the outside. Hollywood Hanover and Cheryl's Shadow trying to reach up. These two to the line. Cheryl's Shadow got it. Reaches up to take it over Hollywood Hanover. Then it was Darby O'Gill for third over I Wish I Had a Me fourth. 1:57-2 for the Shadow Play filly, Cheryl's Shadow. Cheryl's Shadow got it. Reaches up to take it over Hollywood Hanover.
Cheryl's Shadow, big final half effort for this one. She just simply sits on the outside and wears down the pace setter in the final quarter, the daughter of Shadow Play. From the Australios mare, Astromoan, owned by Cheryl Downer of Langley, British Columbia. And that one bred by the same family. The Osceola stables share in the ownership. Julia and Amanda Clark from Caledonia also on this daughter of Shadow Play. And there's a look at her getting up for the long neck decision over number 8 Hollywood Hanover. And a good battle for the show spot. That goes to the number 6 in the field. So good finish there. Hollywood Hanover, after qualifying a week ago, does the road work and took an aggressive approach here today. It falls just short. 57-2 though. A good clocking on a track that'll be probably just a little bit sticky and tiring after that rain that we've had, that steady rain all morning long here at Mohawk Park. So when you consider that, I think a really good effort here in qualifier number 3. And Cheryl's Shadow, yeah, does it the hard way. It really got no favors in there this morning, but looked impressive and kept digging right to the wire. Hollywood Hanover solid in defeat in finishing second, showed good tactical speed there, and I think she's going to be a player in stakes action this season from what we have seen so far from her through 2 weeks of baby races. Again, you're watching live coverage here from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Greg Blanchard and Mark McKelvey with you here this morning. We'll check in with Mark again in a moment. We'll have a look there at qualifier number 4, getting ready to come up here. And while we have a moment, we've been talking stallions today, and let's bring up a board here in a moment that talks about the tremendous stallions that are represented, maybe appropriately with it being Father's Day weekend, and these guys certainly well represented here this morning. We got the top 2 stallions in terms of purse winnings in North America for 2-year-olds last year on both the pacing and the trotting side. The late great Sun Beach Somewhere and his son Captain Treacherous, of course. They were 1-2 in North America last year. On the trotting side, it was Muscle Hill and Cantab Hall, both represented by starters here this morning. And Canada's leaders, the great Better's Delight and Muscle Mass. You'll see several starters from both of those stallions here this morning as well. Definitely a fun time of year, and great to have everybody tuning in this morning. Again, love to hear where you're watching from. Wade Mason says hello from Charlottetown, watching on the HRU feed. Again, we're available on several different platforms here this morning as well. So leave us a comment. Let us know if someone's caught your eye here so far. And we've got plenty of action still to come. 12 races in total. We're coming up to qualifier 4 next. And we'll give you a look at the field page here as Alex is getting ready to get a look at them coming out of the paddock here in just a moment. We've got an expanded field of 9 this time around. And here they come for qualifier number 4. Some interesting prospects in this group. Trying to get a look at that one. That's the number 7 Fade Out. Fade Out from the Greg McNair stable. We talked about that barn with 9 starters this morning. Fade Out is a daughter of sports writer. Number 5 in the field, Bonnie Sunshine. Scott Coulter, trainer Ken Oliver, going to team up with this homebred of ICR Racing of Pefferlaw, Ontario. And this has proven to be a pretty good mating. Sunshine Beach and Beeful of Steinham have already produced a couple of well-known figures on this circuit who are closing in on $100,000 each, those being Beach Baby D and B2B. And Bonnie Sunshine, a full sister to both of those high-level performers. And again, Scott Coulter will get the driving assignment. Bob McClure finished 3rd in qualifier 3 moments ago, and he'll be back in action in this one as well. So again, we're going to bring in Mark and get him to update us on the rundown from qualifier 3. Mark?
Thank you very much, Greg. Yeah, we'll go back and take a look here at the 3rd, where the rundown from top to bottom was 5-1-4, 7 scratch, 3-6-2, and it was Cheryl Shadow, as you mentioned, wearing down Hollywood Hanover late, made up 5.5 lengths from the 3/4 pole to get the 6.5. So good here from Cheryl Shadow to take. Certainly during Carmen Osceola, see them on a nightly basis here at Mohawk. Success with those weekly horses, up with a nice Shadow filly.
Yeah, and Shadow Play, another one of those stallions that has been making his mark in Ontario now for a number of years, and we'll see his offspring well represented this morning as well. A look at the field page here for qualifier number 4. Looks like you've added a starter here in the number 9 Big Better Hanover. I did not have that one on my original program page, so that is the added entry here. So field of 9, Bob McClure will get the driving assignment on that one. Fade Out, we talked about that one a few moments ago. The Sports Raider filly occupies post 7 here. The first foal from the Shadow Play mare Fade, herself a winner of $292,000 in a career that spanned only 22 starts. So she was a good one, top young performer here in the province, and in fact won the 2017 SBOA championship back at that particular time. Number 1 Vintage Delight's a Bettor's Delight, $72,000 yearling from the Brad Grant barn, and this one is a sibling to a couple of high-profile performers, Fat Man's Alley, $775,000 winner, and the hard-hitting Ellis Park closing in on $900,000. Gate rolling for qualifier 4. Here's Mark with the description.
1 Vintage Light, Paul McDonnell for trainer Scott McInerney, $72,000 Ontario buy. Brad Grant owns this Bettor's Delight filly. 2 is Beauty Bling, a sports writer filly, Hut Racing Stable, and Blake McIntosh share ownership. McIntosh trains, Phil Houdon will drive, $15,000 Ontario purchase. 3 is Code 3, a Bettor's Delight filly owned by Michael Guerrero, trained by Dave Maneri, Jody Jameson in the bike, $30,000 Ontario buy. 4, She's a Sharpshooter, is a Huntsville filly, Gino Toscani owns and drives, trained by Herb Holland, $27,000 Goshen purchase. 5 is Bonnie Sunshine, a Sunshine Beach filly. ICR Racing owns and bred this one. Kenneth Oliver trains. Scott Coulter drives. 6 is Dixie Bayama, a Bettor's Delight filly owned by Bayama Farms. They're also the breeders. John Tourney trains. Sylvain Filion drives. 7 is Fade Out, a sports writer filly owned by Greg McNair and Dean Loghart, along with McKinley and Fielding. Greg McNair trains. Doug McNair drives. $20,000 Harrisburg buy. 8 is Peanut Better and Jelly, a Bettor's Delight filly owned by the stable. Harry Polton trains. James McDonald drives. $18,000 Harrisburg buy. And 9 is Big Better Hanover, Big Jim filly. John Pentland trains. Bob McClure drives. $37,000 Harrisburg buy. So they're off in pacing here in the 4th, and from the outside, Big Better Hanover goes right out to the lead. That one crosses over in front of 8 other rivals to strike the front in the early going. Beauty Bling gets away in second. Third is Bonnie Sunshine. Then in fourth is She's a Sharpshooter. Fifth is Vintage Delight, and on the outside is Dixie Bayama. Also caught wide in the early going will be Fade Out, who will try and drop in front of Code 3, and the early trailer is Peanut Butter and Jelly. To the opening quarter, and it'll be Big Better Hanover there in 30-2. So a 30-2 opener for this daughter of Big Jim. And it is Big Better Hanover on top by a length and a half. Beauty Bling, who qualified last week, gets the 2-hole trip. Bonnie Sunshine is then in third. We go 3 lengths back to She's a Sharpshooter in fourth, followed fifth by Vintage Delight. Sixth up the backside, Dixie Bayama. Seventh is Fade Out, followed eighth by Code 3. And at the back of the pack is Peanut Butter and Jelly. Up to the half they go. They are following Big Better Hanover, and after a 30-2 opener, they are past the half in 1:03.4. So once again, not much speed in these second quarters as they go over. The track listed as good, a couple of seconds off. Into the far turn they go. Second continues to be Beauty Bling. Out from third, Bonnie Sunshine is ready to go now for Coulter. Fourth is She's a Sharpshooter as she starts to pick it up. She'll be tracked by Vintage Delight. Staying along the cones is Dixie Bayama. 2.5 lengths back to Fade Out. Then we go back to Code 3. The trailer is Peanut Butter and Jelly. 3/4 is hit in 1:34.3. And the leader has been Big Better Hanover, and she is now confronted. On the outside, this is Bonnie Sunshine, who is trying to muscle on by. So Big Better Hanover digs in, and she looks to fight them off. They got up to her there, and now she is just turning them away. It is Big Better Hanover sprinting on home. Bonnie Sunshine in second. Beauty Bling third on the outside. She's a Sharpshooter. Coming to the edge of the tote board, it was Peanut Butter and Jelly, or I should say Big Better Hanover. That Big Jim filly takes it in 2:02.3, a 28-second final quarter. Big Better Hanover, that Big Jim filly.
There's a gritty effort there from the winner, Big Better Hanover, daughter of Big Jim. I think just showing a little bit of greenness, turning for home off those pedestrian fractions, 1:34.3. And had some company turning for home. And once she got into gear, able to turn it on and repel all challengers, and in fact widen out at the end. 2:02.3 is the win time over a track that will probably deteriorate a little bit further here during the morning because the rain has picked up once again. So it's kind of a damp, windy and now rainy morning here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, in contrast to what we had here a week ago. So, you know, some elements to deal with for the youngsters this morning on top of everything else. But yeah, that's a solid effort, 2:02.3, and a really impressive final quarter. I think the connections would have to be happy with the way the filly responded to the challenge. And this daughter of Big Jim scoring for conditioner John Pentland, driver Bob McClure, a $37,000 yearling purchase last fall from Harrisburg. Several horses in the battle for the place spot, and we will head up to Mark in a few moments to get you that complete finish order in just a moment. Got another field of 9 getting set to go postward here in qualifier number 5. It looks like we've got an additional entry again here in the number 9 Tea Time Pat. Tea Time Pat's been added to the field, so we've got 9 of them to go postward here in this upcoming 5th contest. We're back on the pace and just coming up to almost the midway point on this Friday morning. Again, welcoming you to live coverage here on COSA TV. Want to thank COSA again for making the live production possible with you today and tomorrow, and we will be, of course, with you again next weekend, as well as we watch more and more of these youngsters surface. So we've got qualifier 5 coming out in a moment. There's a look at the field page. Let's take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to look at the starters next.
By now, you know the name COSA TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA TV, taking Ontario racing global.
So I can turn it, what I can do is I can turn it on and off while we're actually not shooting the race. And welcome back. Again, a look at the field for this upcoming 5th qualifier. John Pentland, Bob McClure are going to team up again with one here in the 9 Tea Time Pat. This one is a better than cheddar 2-year-old filly. And the first foal from Voodoo Charm. And we'll see if Pentland and McClure can come right back and click here in qualifier number 5. Another outside post to work with in this spot. Going closer to the inside of the gate, Nicole and Dime is an intriguing one. A Fear the Dragon filly who will be handled by Aaron Byron. Aaron does the training on this one. For owner Steve Heinbecker of nearby Waterloo, Ontario, was bred by the Century Spring Farms of Gorey, Ontario. The daughter of Fear the Dragon from Beachy Girl, the very good producer who's had 7 foals of racing age, and all but one of the 7 have made $100,000 or more. And of course, the most high profile of her offspring is Century Pharaoh. Century Pharaoh now with $1.4 million on his card and counting, and just early on into his season for trainer Dr. Ian Moore, and off to a good start in 2021, and a horse that will look for big things from this season. But this Fear the Dragon filly gets post 2, and anxious to get our first look at her in this spot. Next door neighbor is Let Me Be Me, a daughter of the late Thinking Out Loud, who passed away recently. Again, we want to pass along our thoughts to all of the connections. Thinking Out Loud, the former Pepsi North America Cup champion. This one is a sibling to a trio of $100,000 plus winners. Bob McIntosh retains part of the ownership on this one with Al McIntosh, and Trevor Henry will do the driving. Shadowy, the post 4 starter, a $100,000 yearling purchase. Shadow Play filly was out for her first start a week ago. Did the road work, beaten only ahead in 159, charted in 27-4 on the end of a good-looking mile a week ago. We'll see what she has in store for us this week. So they're moving over to the backstretch and getting set to assemble, and we'll quickly head back up to Mark for the rundown from that 4th qualifier.
Time to check out our finish from our number. It was 2-8, 3-7, 9, outside 9. Hand over that daughter of Big Jim distance. Final quarter was 28 flat after it really got back down there in the middle half.
Thank you, Mark, and again, we apologize for the audio quality when dealing with internet connections, and especially on a day like today, that can happen. So again, we'll keep working on that and try and get it rectified here this morning. Again, thank you for tuning in today. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage so far. We've got the 5th of 12 coming up next. Starting gate underway.
Harrisburg purchase. 3, Let Me Be Me, a Thinking Out Loud filly owned by Bob McIntosh Stables and Al McIntosh Holdings. They're also the breeders. Bob McIntosh trains. Trevor Henry will drive. 4 is Shadowy, daughter of Shadow Play owned by Let It Ride Stables, Bottom Line Racing. Dr. Ian Moore trains. Bob McClure will steer. $100,000 Lexington Select purchase. 5 is Mighty Melissa. She's a daughter of Sports Writer, owned by Greg McNair, Ross Family Farms, Wayne McRae, and Ross Holmes. Trained by Greg McNair. Doug McNair drives. $38,000 Harrisburg purchase. 6, Clear as Glass, American Ideal filly owned by Hut Racing Stable, Blake McIntosh and Larry Denley. Blake McIntosh trains. Phil Houdon will drive. $50,000 Lexington Select purchase. 7, Snowa is a He's Watching filly owned by Tess Waxman, Brenda Selwyn Waxman, and Sally Peacock. Isaac Waxman trains and drives, an $11,000 Ontario purchase. 8 is Velvet Stinger, a Better's Delight filly, a homebred from Millar Farms, trained by Nick Gallucci. James McDonald drives. And the 9 is Tea Time Pat, a Better Than Cheddar filly, owned and bred by Alan Bowden. The trainer's John Pentland. Scott Young does the driving. Starting to get into the stretch. Rain picking up here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. It's a field of 8 2-year-old pacing fillies, and here they come. And they're off and pacing. Clear as Glass is going to shoot from the center of the gate. Beside that one was Snowa. Then down towards the inside, it is Shadowy to get away in third. Fourth is Nicole and Dime. Tea Time Pat looking for a spot in mid-pack. Just to the inside is Let Me Be Me, followed them by Mighty Melissa. And at the rear of the field is Velvet Stinger. They drive into the first turn, and the leader for Phil Houdon up front here is Clear as Glass. Not going to be on the lead for long, though. Shadowy's going to come around for Bob McClure. The opening quarter was 30-3. So into the backstretch they'll go, and the leader becomes Shadowy. Shadowy, who took the lead in the middle half last week, is on the front as they go by 3/8, leading it by a couple of lengths. Daughter of Shadow Play leads it. Over Clear as Glass in second. Third is Snowa. Then racing in fourth is Nicole and Dime. Break of 5 lengths going back to Let Me Be Me, who is racing in fifth. 6 is Tea Time Pat, who is followed by Mighty Melissa. And Velvet Stinger is the trailer 8th as they race past the half in a minute and a fifth, 29-3 in the second quarter. So it picked up there, and into the far turn they go. And Shadowy in the second qualifier for this Daughter of Shadow Play. She is looking good on the lead, leading it by a couple of lengths. Clear as Glass, trying to close that gap from second. Third is Snowa. Underway now from fourth. For Byron comes Nicole and Dime, as that Fear the Dragon filly is about 4 off the lead as they go by 3/4. We check in with Let Me Be Me back there in fifth. Tea Time Pat, followed by Mighty Melissa and Velvet Stinger. 129-2 off the turn and into the stretch. And it is Shadowy the leader. In second is Clear as Glass. And on the outside, Nicole and Dime making up ground and looking to charge on by. Back in fourth is Snowa. 1/8 of a mile remaining. Handing over the lead is Shadowy. And on the far outside, Nicole and Dime is powering by and striking the front. 16th remaining. It'll be Nicole and Dime to take it. Clear as Glass finishes in second. Shadowy was third. Snowa was fourth. 158-4 for Nicole and Dime.
Nicole and Dime, another off-the-pace winner this morning in 158-4. Good look at her on the run-out shot, the Fear the Dragon filly. Trained and driven this morning by Erin Byron, the daughter of Beachy Girl, making her a sibling to several stakes-winning performers, including the $1.5 million winner, Century Pharaoh. Off-the-pace winner, 58-4 this morning over the number 6, Clear as Glass. And Shadowy, similar to last week, did the road work and picked off late. We'll have to settle for third this morning. The rain really intensified just as they were moving behind the gate for that 5th qualifier. And you can see the track getting a little bit wetter, going to get a little bit deeper and tiring, I'm sure. So something to consider in putting these miles into perspective. A week ago, you had the consideration of a strong tailwind in the home stretch, so they were wind-aided final quarter times. And this week, different scenario altogether in terms of weather conditions, track conditions. So it's really important, and that's why it's really great to be able to have a good look at these youngsters in these baby races before they hit the track in parimutuel action to get a bit of an idea what to expect when that happens. We're just coming up to the midway point this morning, the 6th of 12 races coming up momentarily. And we are on the pace again for this upcoming contest. And there's a look at your field page. Got a mix of some of the top stallions in the province represented in here. Sunshine Beach has a couple in this spot. The Great Better's Delight with a pair in number 2, Lady Betts, and number 3, Better Deal. Big Jim toward the outside of the gate, just like Wilma. That one a homebred from the Greg McNair stable. That filly will be just the second foal from the Better's Delight mare, Hurricane Irene. Just to that one's inside, Sakatumi a shadow play filly, a half-sister to You Can't Touch This, who had a very productive 2-year-old campaign. The son of Control the Moment, a winner of $102,000 as a rookie last season. And here is the shadow play, half-sister to that one. We'll leave from post 7 here for Martin Lachance, who does both the training and the driving. So we're going to take another quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get an up-close look at the starters for Qualifier 6.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about. Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
All right, there's a look at the horses coming out from the paddock location, and you could really get a good indication there of how hard the rain is falling right now. The forecast is for it to clear up later today. We certainly hope that is the case, but right now the rain is coming down substantially once again. Time to quickly revisit our poll question before we get to Qualifier 6. Off the top, we asked you, which of these trainers do you think is going to have the best crop of rookie performers this season? Prominent local trainers, Greg McNair, Blake McIntosh, Dr. Ian Moore, or Bob McIntosh, or will it be somebody other than one of these 4? Leave us a comment today. As always, we love to hear from you, and let us know what you think and perhaps what you've seen so far through the first week and a half or so of baby races will sway that opinion. They're coming out for Qualifier 6. There's a look at 5. Watch My Honey Drip, a Sunshine Beach filly. Gavin Christie owns this one and does the training. Dave Boughton scheduled to drive here this morning, sibling to a trio of $100,000 plus winners. The Dam Fiona Var Hanover has been a solid producer during her career. There's a look at the complete field. Let's quickly go back up to Mark and get an update on the rundown from back in Qualifier 5.
Here was the order of finish from that 5th qualifier. The 1 was scratched, so from top to bottom, we were scratched 1, 5, 3, 6, 2, 4, 7, 8. The winner, Nicole and Dime. Real nice effort for this Aaron Byron trainee. She just finished up very strong. Off the pace winner, 158 and 4. The quickest to this point today.
Mark will be getting ready for the play-by-play of the next one up. It's qualifier number 6, a field of 8 set to go postward in this particular spot. Number 3, Better Deal, one of a pair of Better's Delights in the field, and one of 3 that qualified a week ago. Was handled aggressively in that one and faltered to finish 6th in that race. We'll look to step up a little bit here this morning. We do have a pair of winners from last weekend. The number 4, I Love Ongate, Sunshine Beach filly, bred and owned by the Let It Ride Stables of Florida. Bottom Line Racing sharing the ownership of that one. A 59 winner a week ago, 27-1 on the end. A Better Double Flip, number 6, a Better Than Cheddar filly, was a winner last weekend for Blake McIntosh in 157 and 4, one of the quickest miles of the session, using a 28 and 4 final quarter to emerge victorious in that one. So we'll see, will one of those come back or will somebody else emerge this morning? Here's qualifier 6, and once again, here's Mark McKelvey.
Starting gate rolling for our 6th qualifier. Scratch number 1. And also take out numbers 7 and 8. So we'll start with the 2, Lady Betts, Better's Delight filly, owned by M&L of Delaware. Trained by Susie Kerwood. Jody Jamieson drives, $27,000 Lexington buy. 3, Better Deal. Gino Toscani owns and drives for trainer Herb Holland. $10,000 Lexington buy as his daughter's a Better's Delight. 4, I Love On Gate, Sunshine Beach filly, owned by Let It Ride Stables, Bottom Line Racing. Ian Moore trains, Bob McClure will steer. 5, Watch My Honey Drip, a Sunshine Beach filly, owned and trained by Gavin Christie. Dave Boughton. I should say, it looks like that is going to be Phil Houdon driving. $8,000 Ontario purchase. And 6, Better Double Flip, a Better Than Cheddar filly, Hut Racing Stable, Mortgage Boys Stable, Linda Bedard, and 3 Hero Stables are the owners. Better Than Cheddar filly is trained by Blake McIntosh. James McDonald drives, an $8,000 Lexington Sale graduate. 2-year-old pacing fillies are sent on their way for the 6th. It's a field of 5, and it'll be Better Deal, who will storm out to the early lead. Better Deal cut over in front of Lady Betts, who will sit behind 2nd. Then it is I Love On Gate lining up, Better Double Flip, and followed by Watch My Honey Drip. That's how they get situated as this 5-pack drives into the first turn. And Better Deal, the Better's Delight filly, a $10,000 Lexington Select purchase. She's on the front. Similar spot that she was in last week as she leads them through the opening quarter in 29 seconds flat. Onto the backstretch they'll go, and the leader is Better Deal. Racing in 2nd, Lady Betts. They were backing down there. You could see it, and McClure's not going to wait. Out from 3rd, here he goes, and he looks to come up and around Better Deal and will do just that. I Love On Gate, Better Deal. As Toscani might have ramped it up just for a second once again, as it looked like he was getting them back down in that second quarter. Lady Betts is racing in 3rd, Better Double Flip in 4th, and then it's 2.5 lengths back to Watch My Honey Drip. The half was 59 and 4, so that was 30 and 4 in the second quarter, and the leaders I Love On Gate, a winner last week in 159 with a 27 and 1 final quarter. And it is I Love On Gate on top by 2. Better Deal in 2nd. Lady Betts in the debut qualifier sits 3rd. Better Double Flip is 4th. And Watch My Honey Drip can see them from 5th as they head to 3 quarters. I Love On Gate by a couple of lengths. Races past the 3rd marker in 128 and 4. 29 seconds flat in the 3rd panel off the turn and into the stretch. And it's the Sunshine Beach filly I Love On Gate opening up an advantage of now 4. Better Deal is back in 2nd. Better Double Flip has moved up into 3rd. Lady Betts is 4th, and Watch My Honey Drip 5th. I Love On Gate. She looked really good last week, and she follows it up with another strong performance. She'll win this one by a half dozen lengths. It's I Love On Gate to take it in 156 and 4, 28-second final quarter for I Love On Gate.
Striding nice and strong through the wire, under wraps, doing it. I Love On Gate, now 2 for 2 in qualifying action. Following up on that 159 victory last week on a fast Woodbine Mohawk Park Oval. Today on an off track, 56 and 4. Even more impressive. 57-second back half speed, 28 seconds on the end, and you certainly had to like the body language of both the filly and driver Bob McClure crossing the wire there. So it was a relatively easy win for the filly, the Sunshine Beach Lass, scoring impressively for the 2nd consecutive week. Better Double Flip, who was a week 1 winner, comes back and is a good runner-up here this morning. Better Deal, the first leader in the race, ends up finishing 3rd. So that completes the first half of this morning's baby race qualifying session from Woodbine Mohawk Park, and the rain has subsided, so that is certainly the good news here as we get set for the final 6 here of the morning session. We're just taking a short break right now. We're going to have some of the horses out and allowed an opportunity to warm up and get ready to go for the second half of today's session. Again, we want to welcome you tuning in on several different platforms. The live streaming of the races this morning on our Standardbred Canada website. We've got the feed, of course, here on the COSA TV Facebook page, on the HRU Harness Racing Update page, Winback page as well. We want to thank those partners for supporting this live coverage. Thank you again to COSA TV and our friends at the Woodbine Entertainment Group as well. Going to head upstairs. We'll bring in Mark McKelvey again if he's standing by, and get that update from race number 6. Mark?
Thank you very much. We did have there Qualifier, the 1-7. So our rundown was scratch 4, 3, 5, which is on the bottom, and I love 2 for 2, and you've talked about it. Back weeks, Dr. Ian Moore's strong success early on the base. It's continuing here today, and last weekend looks like it's a good weekend for his barn as well. I love 8 and 4, 57 half, as you mentioned, 28 seconds home, and the time beach really named fittingly. I love On Gate for Eric Cherry's On Gate, as he's one of the owners. I'd stay his home. He's really living up to what her connections were hoping.
I would agree, Mark. It definitely looks the part so far through 2 qualifiers. There was plenty left in the tank, I would suggest, today. And again, that time, I think, as you reflect on it following this morning, you're going to look back and say that was a really impressive effort considering track and weather conditions here today. I love On Gate. Looks like a filly with a bright future, and looking forward to seeing her in pari-mutuel action, which won't be too far away. On that note, the Ontario Sire Stakes season for 2021 is just around the corner. It's going to be kicking off in a couple of weeks from now. And I believe we've got a graphic that we'll bring up here for you momentarily, and there it is. Yeah, it's going to kick off on Canada Day weekend, so what a way to start off 2021 in the Ontario Sire Stakes. July 1st, Canada Day, here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. They're going to be playing host to a pair of gold divisions. 3-year-old colt trotters and the 3-year-old filly trotters will be in action that day. And as well, July 2nd, right here at the same venue, 2-year-old filly pacers take center stage. And on July 3rd, the Saturday night, the Glamour Boys are back. 3-year-old colt pacers, the likes of Bulldog Hanover, Lawless Shadow, and others competing there. Hiawatha Horse Park in Sarnia will also kick into action that night with Grassroots for 3-year-old colt trotters. So very exciting. The Ontario Sire Stakes has long been one of the very best programs in North America, and looking forward to another tremendous season here in 2021. You can visit OntarioSireStakes.com for the complete schedule. Again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in this morning, and love hearing what you've got to say and where you're tuning in from. We'll give a shout out to Millard Beatty III, hopefully pronouncing your name correctly, and tuning in from Woodland, Pennsylvania. Nice to have you on board, and again, we'd love to hear where you are tuning in from. We're going to take another quick commercial break right now, and we'll be back with more as we're halfway through Friday's baby race session from Woodbine Mohawk Park.
Dark Horse. Download the app today.
By By now, you know the name COSA TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about. Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
Hello. Hello, Curtis. Can you hear me?
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome back. Getting set for the second half of coverage here this morning from Woodbine Mohawk Park. Greg Blanchard and Mark McKelvey on board with you this morning. Mark, we've had some technical difficulties. Hey, you know what? It's early in the season, and internet issues. Everything was so perfect last week, including the weather, and a different scenario today, but here we are. Have you liked what you've seen so far? Do you have one that's impressed you the most?
We're going to try it.
Well, it looks like he's not hearing me, so there you go. The technical issues continue, but we'll get them sorted out. Again, we're trying to provide extensive coverage for you today, and because of the elements, we kind of had to shift gears on the fly here this morning, but it's wonderful to have you joining us here so far today. Much busier than it was a week ago. We had 7 qualifiers for the Trotters on the Friday morning, and on Saturday we had 8 for the Pacers. This week we're mixing it up, going fillies and colts, so all the fillies in action here today on both the trot and the pace. Deteriorating weather and track conditions throughout this morning, so despite that, some really impressive efforts, and I think the one that we saw just before the break, probably the most impressive, that 56-4 clocking, as we've got Mark back in. Mark, can you hear me first of all? Not hearing me. He's giving the shake. No, he's not hearing me. So, all right, we'll try and connect with Mark a little bit later on during the back half of the card. The good news is we can hear him calling the action this morning as well. And as you can see behind me too, the skies are starting to clear, so that's the good news. The rain has subsided, and it is supposed to push out, so hopefully the weather at least is going to be good the rest of the way here this morning. So far, we've had a mix of trot and pacers, and in terms of time, it's been some impressive clockings here this morning considering those inclement conditions. We've had a break at the midway point of this morning session to get ready to go here for the second half and the final 6. Again, we want to thank you for joining us today. And we've had some viewers tuning in from the U.S. south of the border. We've heard from some folks down on the East Coast today. And if you're just tuning in, again, let us know where you're watching from today. As always, we'd like to hear from you. And tell us who you think's been the most impressive so far through the first 6 on the program. Woodbine Mohawk Park is the venue, and we've got live action, of course, for you here tonight and tomorrow night, as well as we're really just getting going on the summer racing season after that 3-week hiatus. We kicked off with a very busy weekend 1 week ago, live racing on both the Friday and Saturday night, full slate of qualifiers and baby races as well. And as we saw a few moments ago, the OSS season just around the corner and getting ready to kick off as well. So Mark is up there and ready. Give us a nod, Mark. Can you hear us this time?
Yeah, I've got you.
That is beautiful. I hear you as well. So, yeah, let's go back to what I was asking earlier. Just a quick thought on what you saw in the first 6 races today under less than ideal weather conditions compared to a week ago. Is there a horse or two that's impressed you the most so far this morning?
Sometimes you like to mix up the storylines and get off the trends, but I mean the Ian Moore trainees have looked real good, and I love On Gate. That was just a real strong performance that we saw, and maybe it's more fresh in our minds because it was towards the end of that first half. But I liked her last week, and following last week's baby races, I did a report for Woodbine social media looking back at 3 of the winners, and I love On Gate was one of them that I highlighted, and I was excited to see her here today, and she followed it up beautifully with that good effort. And I mean, you just look out there, that track, it's not going to get any better as the day goes on. And we've seen some qualifiers where they've really been back down going to the half, and in that qualifier, McClure put her to the front, and she was just a pure professional to close it out nicely. So I'll be curious to see just how the conditions are holding up here on the back half of today's program. One other thing to maybe keep in mind is we might start to see some scratches. Again, the rain has kind of been on throughout the morning, but if you were somebody that was in a later qualifier and you're at your farm and you're looking out wondering whether or not maybe you'll just take a pass today, we might start to see a few of those towards towards the end, as we did see in the 6th qualifier, 3 scratches.
Yeah, big difference. What a difference a week does make. I left here last week and went to the beach for a couple of hours in the afternoon. That's not going to happen today, I can tell you that. Yeah, and Dr. Ian Moore winning right off the bat today with a trotter. We don't see him send out many trotters, but Angelonia, very impressive, an Archangel sibling to intimidate the Millionaire and look good winning in her 2nd qualifier. Nicole and Dime, I thought looked good. Really eye-catching off the pace win for Aaron Byron, trainer driver.
Yeah, that was a real nice performance. A $92,000 purchase was Nicole and Dime. And Steve Heimbecker, I know you had an opportunity a few months ago to chat with him on a special edition of Costa TV. He's putting a ton into this industry, and you know, he's certainly opening his wallet to buy those youngsters that he's hoping can turn into some state caliber. And he's been involved with some really good horses over the last few years, and he's got to be really happy with what he saw there. Obviously putting a bit of an investment in with Aaron Byron, because they are teaming up with some youngsters this year, and they're off to a real nice start. That was a good performance off the pace, as you mentioned, and caught my eye for sure, and probably caught the eye of many of our viewers.
For sure. All right, Mark, thank you. Glad we've got your sound fixed up, sounding good, and we'll let you get back to it, getting set to call the action in the back half of today's qualifying session. Horses and drivers on track now for Qualifier 7. Let's give you another look at the field page for this one upcoming. And we're back on the trot this time around, scheduled for a field of 7. There's how they're going to line up on the starting gate. Number 4, Taiwan On, owned by the stable Taiwan On of Guelph, was one of the horses coming back today after a very impressive qualifying win last Saturday. Taiwan On, the son of, or the daughter, I should say, of bar hopping, excuse me, a 10-length winner in 2:01 and 2 in last weekend's session, 28-2 final quarter. And Jonathan McKinnon training, James McDonald doing the driving on this one. Excuse me, bar hopping, the former Canadian Trotting Classic and Breeders' Crown winner. And we'll see if this one can come back and duplicate. We've already seen a youngster double up in baby race qualifying earlier today, and I Love On Gate, and can Taiwan On do the same as we get set for qualifier number 7. They're in the backstretch now, getting set to assemble for this one. As Mark said, rain, steady all morning long, and then it really picked up around qualifier 5 and 6 today. Since then it has subsided, but I think you're going to see a kind of a tacky type racing surface now the rest of the way here this morning, and we'll see how those youngsters are able to handle those conditions the rest of the way. Another one that I think will garner some attention here is number 5, Global News, 3rd last week in a qualifying event as well, charted individually in 2:01 for Blake McIntosh and Jody Jameson. Archangel looking for a second winning credit this morning, and this one a bargain basement yearling purchase for just $14,000, and I would expect maybe a little bit more aggressive effort this time around in the second qualifier this morning. So again, starters are in the backstretch and getting set to assemble, and we'll head upstairs and join Mark McKelvey. Mark, if you can hear me, and if you're able to, perhaps update whether there are any changes in terms of scratches or driver changes in this upcoming 7th.
Yeah, Greg, we're going to have a couple scratches here in this qual. 4 will be out. Bring us down. I've been just like we anticipated, they're going to be here in the back half, and for some trainers, they were on the road, they were in others to check out. Then now doesn't look too bad. The rain is, but if you looked at the forecast, it wasn't exactly indicating that we were dealing with conditions. So scratches as we go. So we get to focus a little more for the rookies that do go forward as the now moving into position.
Here we go for qualifier number 7 as we resume with today's baby race action. 2-year-old trotting fillies, scratch number 3 and number 4. No driver changes here. Field of 5. The 1, Tijuana Sealster, is a muscle mass filly owned by Celeste Hill, along with Keelan Green as the trainer and Eddie Green as the driver, a $60,000 London purchase. 2 is Can't Stop Tommy, a royalty for life filly owned by Dustin Jones Stables and Hebert Horses. Dustin Jones trains and drives, a $42,000 Harrisburg buy. 3 and 4 are out. 5, Global News, an Archangel filly owned by Hut Racing Stable, Blake McIntosh. McIntosh trains, Jody Jameson drives, $14,000 Harrisburg purchase. 6 is Need a Little Magic, a Cadabra filly owned and bred by Greg McNair, who trains, and Doug McNair will drive. And the 7, Say Something. Gino Toscani owns and drives, trained by Herb Holland, is this daughter of Muscle Mass, a $13,000 Lexington Select purchase. Number 2, Can't Stop Tommy. In her debut qualifier, a Little Green will now move up onto the gate for trainer driver Dustin Jones. Starting gate, approaching the top of the stretch, scratch down to a field of 5 here for the 7th. And here we go with the 7th as they're off fan trotting, and Say Something from the outside flashes the early speed. So Say Something out to the top as the Global News will move into 2nd. Tijuana Sealster at the inside is 3rd. Can't Stop Tommy gets away 4th, and Need a Little Magic will drop in behind in 5th. It is Say Something, the daughter of Muscle Mass, by a length and a half, and off stride went Can't Stop Tommy, who was racing there in 4th. She makes the break, and that means Need a Little Magic will inherit that position, moves up into 4th, sitting about 7 lengths off the top. Say Something by a length and a half over Global News. Racing in 3rd is Tijuana Sealster, Need a Little Magic 4th, and Can't Stop Tommy is now back there in 5th. 30 and 3 for the opening quarter. On to the backstretch, and it is Say Something showing the way. Say Something, who was cutting the mile last week, looking over to her right as Global News and Jody Jameson loop around. So it'll be Global News striding out and looking really good as they moved up to the lead. And they go past the half here in 101 and 1. Trotting into the far turn, Global News. She qualified last week, finished 3rd. 2:01 was her individual time, a 28 and 4 final quarter. This daughter of Archangel leads it by 2 lengths, 5/8 of the mile now complete. Say Something in 2nd. Tijuana Sealster in 3rd. The debuting Need a Little Magic is back there in 4th, and Can't Stop Tommy is the trailer. Heading towards 3/4, it is Global News and Jody Jameson by a pair, and they race past 3/4 in 1:30 and 2. Solid 3rd quarter there. 29 and 1 into the stretch. Global News the leader. Say Something back in 2nd. Then we go back to Tijuana Sealster, who will try and fight off Need a Little Magic for 3rd. 1/8 of a mile to go. Global News the leader. Say Something wanted to make another push, but is still 2.5 away. Global News will grab the headlines here in the 7th. Global News to take it. Finishing in 2nd was Say Something, followed then by Need a Little Magic 3rd, Tijuana Sealster 4th, and Can't Stop Tommy 5th. 159 and 3 for Global News.
Double J and trainer Blake McIntosh clicking here with number 5, Global News for Archangel, his 2nd winning credit this morning. And there is Global News coming to the wire, polishing off a flashy 159 and 3 clocking. Say Something, the Muscle Mass filly, was a good 2nd. Gino Toscani and Herb Holland teaming up there. After winning last week in 2 minutes and a 5th, comes back and I would say equally as good, if not a little bit better, but only 2nd best this morning to Global News, who did step up. We talked about that one, debuting last week and finishing 3rd, and was that much better this morning. 59 and 3. A very impressive trip on the off-going with 58 and 2 back half speed to seal the deal. Say Something, the runner-up, and Need a Little Magic, a Cadabra filly for Team McNair to round out the top 3 in that 7th qualifier. It was scratched down to a field of 5 with the 3 of the 4 taken out from that 7th. So as Mark said, we're likely to get a few changes the rest of the way. when you come to the morning session like this, as we saw earlier, you get some late horses who were added to the mix after the initial draw, and then you get others that are late scratches and for one reason or another do not go postward. So we'll try our best to get those for you prior to the race going postward. So here is the scheduled field for the upcoming 8th. Another group of trotters, and if they are all here, it will be a full field of 8 to go postward in here. Some pedigree potential on a couple of these youngsters, certainly, based on the production record that we've seen from the family so far. The number 1, M&M's, is a daughter of Muscle Mass. We'll see Gino Toscani and Herb Holland team up again here. Gino owns this one, Gino from nearby Mount Hope. Another guy that has put a lot of money into yearlings over the years and has had some good ones, and he's got a nice group that we've seen so far through these first couple of weeks. This one did qualify last week, finished second on that occasion, individually timed in 2:04 and 4. So we'll be looking undoubtedly for some more speed from that one here today. Even with the off conditions, I would expect that filly to be able to step up and lower that time today. Next door neighbor, $85,000 yearling purchase last fall in Harrisburg. It's Allison and Hanover, an Archangel filly. Mark Etzel shares in the ownership of this one. Mark will do both the training and the driving here this morning on that one. Couple of doors down, Clockwork Orange is a daughter of Resolve. We'll have post 4 here for the 30 plus stable, and Blake McIntosh co-owns. Blake training and James McDonald driving. And the mare Too Good For You, and certainly the first time mating with Resolve, but has produced several winners of $150,000 or more. And this one was a $45,000 fall yearling purchase. Horses and drivers making their way to the track for the 8th. While we have a moment, let's send it back up to Mark and see if he's got that rundown from back in qualifier 7.
And in that 7th qualifier, we were down to a field of 5 and all one. Global wins in 1:59 a.m. Jody going to second quarter and kept the tempo on. It's moving to the top to take that top spot for something, and then by a length 150 over a track that's listed 2 seconds. Real nice. Say Something though caught a weekend again. Nothing for her. She finished second. So she was race time to 1:59 and 4, and Need a Little Magic, the McNee 2:02. That was her debut. Again, a good 1:59 and 3 on a day like today. That is sure.
Very impressive effort there in the 7th. The 8th on the track now, and it looks from my vantage point like most of the horses are going to compete as scheduled here in this contest. Again, a look at the field page there, running through some of the starters that we're going to get a look at. Blue Bayou Deo, number 5, is a Trixton filly that will be out for her second effort. She made miscue at the start last time and really took herself out of serious contention, but did put it together and ultimately finished 4th on that occasion. We'll look to mind her manners today for Jonathan McKinnon and James McDonald. They've already had some luck here this morning to this point. Number 6, Complete Life, is a Cadabra daughter of Christina M. That Muscles Yankee mare has had a pretty solid production record over her career. She hit with a home run right off the bat. Her first full was the top performer, Charmed Life, career winner of $1.5 million. And unfortunately for that one, had to face the likes of Hannelore, Hanover, and Be a Magician through much of her career, but still able to get her share with $1.5 million earned. And Complete Life will get the services of Jody Jamieson. Dave Maneri trains this one, who was a $35,000 yearling purchase, and was second last week. A runner-up finisher charted individually in 2:02 and 3. Team McNair has another one here. Number 7, Baby Longstocking, a muscle mass filly from the Conway Hall mare Armbro Exquisite, owned by Tennessee connections. Willow Oak Ranch of Tennessee owns and actually bred this one as well. And it'll be our first look at her in behind the starting gate this morning. So let's go back up to Mark, and Mark can fill us in as to whether there are any changes from the scheduled order here in Qualifier 8.
So it goes on.
Yeah, thank you very much, Greg. Here we get set for the 8th qualifier. We got one driver change. Sylvain Filion will drive number 5, Blue Bayou Deo. That's it for changes. So as we started getting on that topic, that we probably see some scratches here, and then of course the next qualifier, all 8 show up. But that's good for us. We'll get to see lots of 2-year-olds here, and Sylvain Filion will go with the 5, Blue Bayou Deo, as James McDonald had a double here and opts to go with the Resolve filly, Clockwork Orange, for trainer Blake McIntosh, who finished 4th last week. Ontario sired is that filly Clockwork Orange. As Resolve, we get a look at his debut crop this season. Billy, Mark Etzel, Robert Newton, Sean Tan, and Graham Hopkins are the owners. Mark Etzel trains and drives, $85,000 Harrisburg purchase. 3 is Cersei DeVie, Resolve filly owned by Dr. Steve Taylor, trained by Pam Forgy. Paul McDonnell drives. 4 is Clockwork Orange, Resolve filly owned by 30 Plus stable, Blake McIntosh. McIntosh trains. James McDonald drives, $45,000 Lexington purchase. 5, Blue Bayou Deo is a Trixton filly owned by the stable. Johnny McKinnon trains. Sylvain Filion will drive. 6 is Complete Life, a Cadabra filly owned by Maneri Racing. Michael Guerrero, Alan Albert, and Steve Heimbecker. Steve Maneri trains. Jody Jameson will drive. $35,000 Lexington buy. 7, Baby Longstocking is a muscle mass filly owned by Willow Oak Ranch, also the breeders. Greg McNair trains. Doug McNair will drive. And 8 is Dee Dee Sealster, Wheeling and Dealing filly owned by Desiree Jones and Eddie Green. Keelan Green trains. Eddie Green drives. $27,000 London buy. Field of 8, 2-year-old trotting filly swinging into the stretch, picking up speed, and here they come. And they're off and trotting. M&M's from the rail gets the first call. Here's Complete Life coming away well. The Cadabra filly for Jameson from the center, hustling out of there. And Dee Dee Sealster is also flashing early speed from the far outside. Clockwork Orange got away in 4th. Off stride went Cersei DeVie. That one taken out of harm's way. On the outside, Baby Longstocking, Blue Bayou Deo, and the trailers, Alisanne Hanover. To the opening quarter they go, and Dee Dee Sealster will be parked past the opening quarter in 30-1, but will cross over and is the leader as they swing into the backstretch. Complete Life in 2nd. Racing in 3rd is M&M's. Then in 4th is Clockwork Orange. 3 lengths going back to Blue Bayou Deo, who's followed by Baby Longstocking, Alisanne Hanover, and then the trailer is Cersei DeVie. It'll be Dee Dee Sealster to show the way up the backstretch. Complete Life, who got a 2-hole ride a week ago, but had a leader that really took off on them in the back half, will track from 2nd, 1.5 lengths off the lead. Racing in 3rd is M&M's, and 4th is Clockwork Orange. The half was 101-4. Onto the far turn they go. Let's check in with Blue Bayou Deo, who is trotting in 5th, about 7.5 from the lead. 3 lengths going back to Baby Longstocking 6th. 7th then is Alisanne Hanover, and then it goes back to Cersei DeVie, who is probably about a half dozen lengths off her nearest rival. 5/8 complete, and on to 3/4 they go. Dee Dee Sealster is the leader. Change of tactics this week for Dee Dee Sealster, and the Wheelin' and Dealin' filly in her 2nd qualifier takes them to 3/4. She's on the front by 1.5 lengths. Complete Life has been getting the perfect journey. 3/4, 132-3. So they will turn for home, and out of the deuce, Complete Life looks to shoot on by, and she'll do just that, and she takes the lead. Complete Life on the far outside. Here comes Blue Bayou Deo, and that Trixton filly is gobbling up Racetrack, and she will look to muscle on by. Here's Blue Bayou Deo on the outside. Complete Life digging in at the inside. These two will battle as they come down to the line. Complete Life at the inside. Blue Bayou Deo on the outside, grinding by. These two to hit the line together. Blue Bayou Deo got it from Complete Life. Life. Third went to Baby Longstocking, who was rallying. And fourth was M&M's. Time of the mile, 2:03 and 1. Life. Third went to Baby Longstocking, who was rallying.
Qualifier 8 going to Blue Bayou Deo. James McDonald, Jonathan McKinnon team up here. Just up narrowly in the final strides to win it in 2:03 and 1. So the Trixton filly, who made the miscue early in the mile last week and rebounded to finish fourth, improves upon that effort today and will get up by the narrowest of margins to stop the clock in 2:03 and 1 over the track, which I'm sure is getting a little bit heavy and kind of tiring as we move into the later stages of today's session. Daughter of Trixton winning over Complete Life. Complete Life out for her second qualifier, and a couple of early moves in the mile, and is pretty game right through to the wire there, just getting nipped at the end in 2:03 and 1. Baby Longstocking, the Muscle Mass Lass, rallies and will finish third in that group for qualifier number 8. So it is another winner for driver James McDonald. We talked about the success he's had since returning north of the border here over the last week or so. He had been driving down in the New York, New Jersey area for a couple of months while racing was on shutdown here, and did well, and has been on fire since coming back here, including a 5-win night as part of last evening's program here from Woodbine Mohawk Park. A look inside our paddock location, and I believe Alex is in there, our camera guy. We'll get some shots of them making their way out here for the upcoming 9th in a moment. Another group of trotters will face the starting gate next, scheduled for a field of 7. We'll see James McDonald back on board, number 5, Grace. Grace is a daughter of one of the first crop stallions of the province, Merchandiser. And this one did qualify last week, finishing third, was beaten a length and a quarter, kicked home in 27 and 4. So a solid debut effort for the filly, one of 2 in the field to race a week ago. The other one was Her Grace, the number 3, and that daughter of Encore. Encore finishing 5th in that initial assignment. Paul Reed training that one. Scott Young will be in the driver's seat here today. Number 4, Hershey Sealster, a Cadabra filly from the top producing mare Hollywood Beauty. And that, of course, makes this one a sibling to a number of really top trotters. Henderson Sealster, Heineken Sealster, both have earned over a couple of $100,000 each. Hemi Sealster, the most accomplished in the family, a winner of $850,000 lifetime. So Hershey Sealster, expectations will be high, I'm sure, for this one. Bred by the Sealster Farms of Lucan, Miller Farms of Stouffville, owners of this one. And Nick Gallucci does the training for that stable, Miller Farms, annually. One of the top ownership groups in the province. George Miller, of course, owns and operates that farm, and Nick Gallucci, the young conditioner, has done a great job for them over the last couple of years. And Hershey Sealster, one that we'll anticipate our first look at here today. They're making their way from the paddock location. Number 7 is Nellie Hudson. We'll have the services of Paul McDonnell for Murray Simons. This one, another daughter of Merchandiser. Our first look at this filly in action today. Pegasus Spur Mare Dance Hall Wendy has produced this one, and Nellie Hudson gets the outside starting spot to work with. Another one to look at, number 6, Half Filthy, another Cadabra filly in the field. Steve Heimbecker and Aaron Byron going to team up. They already have sent out a winner this morning, an impressive winner at that, in Nicole and Dime. And this Cadabra filly is the second foal from the Cash Hall mare Miss Connor. And her first foal was $181,000 winner Power Court. And weather conditions have improved now pretty dramatically. Temperatures starting to warm, skies are clearing. I think we're going to have a nice rest of the day, and it bodes well for tonight's race program here tonight at Woodbine Mohawk Park as well. A couple of more left to exit our paddock location. In the meantime, let's go back up to Mark for the rundown of the 8th.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. Just getting the updates for this upcoming 9th qualifier. 2, 4, and 6 are out, so that's going to bring us down to a much shorter group than we anticipated. But back there in the 8th qualifier, we just saw a victory for Blue Bayou Deo. The margin of victory was ahead over Complete Life in 2:03 and 1. Really rallied there, making up 5 lengths. That's what she was off at 3/4. The rundown I would provide to everybody, but we actually just sent the chart through to the judges to review. So we'll pass that along in just a moment. But for this 9th qualifier, we can let you know that 2, 4, and 6 are out. That means we will have just a field of 4 to go forward here, as it'll be a 2-year-old trotting fillies once again in the spotlight.
All right, well, thank you, Mark. That's an important update. Yes, we talked at length about Hershey Sealster and Half Filthy, two that we were looking forward to seeing today, but both, unfortunately, are not here. So we're going to get a chance to look at the other 4 in action. Down to a field of 4, they are Resolving, Her Grace K, Grace, and Nellie Hudson. And here's Mark with the call.
So here we go for that 9th qualifier. 2-year-old trotting fillies, number 2, 4, and 6 are all out. So it'll be a group of 4. From the inside out, we'll start with Resolving. She's a daughter of Resolve, owned by Yolanda Fellows, Blair Corbeil, and Edward Wilson, trained by Rob Fellows. Louis-Philippe Waugh will drive, a $30,000 Harrisburg purchase. 3 is Her Grace K. She is a daughter of Encore, owned and trained by Paul Reed. Scott Young will drive. Number 5 is Grace, daughter of Merchandiser, owned by Anthony McDonald. Amy McDonald trains, James McDonald will drive. And then number 7 is Nellie Hudson, also a daughter of Merchandiser, owned by Cynthia Graham and William Wolfray. They are the breeders. Murray Salmons is the trainer. Paul McDonnell will drive. So that's your group of 4 here for the 9th qualifier. 2, 4, and 6 are out. As we continue on with today's baby races, track listed as good, 2-second variant. We've got 12 qualifiers in total here this morning, as it's all fillies. Tomorrow will be the Colts, and checking the forecast, looks like much nicer conditions tomorrow for the boys. Group of 4 here for the 9th qualifier, swinging to the top of the stretch. Resolving, Her Grace K, Grace, and Nellie Hudson. That's your group of 4. They're picking up speed, and here they come. And they're off and trotting. We're going to give the first call to Grace as she shoots away, and will stride out to the early lead. Her Grace K moves into second from the rail. Resolving will get away in third, and then Nellie Hudson just comes over to the pylons, and she'll settle fourth. Onto the first turn they go, and it's Grace the leader, the daughter of Merchandiser, in her second qualifier. She didn't miss by much last week. She had a 27-4 kicker. She was riding in the 2-hole and then got beat a length and a quarter. She's past the opening panel, 30-2. That was the opening split here this morning. Onto the backstretch they'll go. Grace is up front for James McDonald. Her Grace K and Scott Young race in second. Third is Resolving and Louis Waugh. And then fourth is Nellie Hudson and Paul McDonnell. Group of 4 move up the backstretch. It's the Merchandiser filly Grace showing the way, leading it by almost 2 lengths. Her Grace K, Whip just tapping her a little bit to close that gap. The daughter of Encore races second. The Resolving, a daughter of Resolve, is in third. And then fourth, 5 lengths from the front, is another daughter of Merchandiser, that being Nellie Hudson. The half was 102-4. Onto the far turn they'll go, and they continue to follow Grace. She's on the lead, and she's looking strong as they enter the far turn. Second continues to be Her Grace K. Then third is the debuting Resolving. Back in fourth is Nellie Hudson. So it's the 2 fillies that have a qualifier already under their belt, 1-2. Grace and Her Grace K May. Heading towards 3/4. Resolving is about 4.5 from the front in third, and then it's another break of 3 lengths back to Nellie Hudson fourth, 1:32 and 4, 30 seconds even in the third quarter. The fastest quarter to this point as they're into the stretch, and Grace looks to close this one out. It's Grace on top now by 2.5 coming to the 8th pole. Her Grace K is in second, Resolving in third, looking to finish up well in her debut, and Nellie Hudson back in fourth. There'll be no movement. Nobody will change position in this one as they all followed Grace all the way around, and she will take it by about 2.5. Finishing second was her Grace K, then third was Resolving, and fourth was Nellie Hudson. 2:02 and 1, a 29 and 2 final quarter for the winner, Grace.
Driver James McDonald right back, this time with the filly Grace, a daughter of merchandiser. Amy McDonald doing the training, and she was one of a couple in the field that Mark mentioned, had qualified a week ago. She was third on that occasion, showed good early speed and followed in, and today showed that tactical speed and opted to do all of the road work and kicked home with a 59 and 2 final half to score the victory in 2:02 and 1. Her Grace K, finishing second in here, followed in all the way. She's a daughter of Encore. And the Resolve filly Resolving, rounding out the top 3, Nellie Hudson, the other starter of the field, finished fourth. So they all minded their manners and they all behaved professionally in qualifier number 9, which goes to Grace. Now 2 under her belt and looks ready to make her parimutuel debut. And we'll see many of these horses here in the upcoming couple of weeks with the Ontario Sire Stakes just around the corner, as we mentioned. And maybe we'll take a moment and pull that graphic up for you and have another look at it here as we give you a quick peek at the field for qualifier number 10. It will be a big field of 9. There's a quick look at the OSS schedule. It all kicks off Canada Day weekend right here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. They'll host gold events on the Thursday, the Friday, and Saturday, July 3rd. July 3rd, Hiawatha Horse Park in Sarnia also gets underway with grassroots action for 3-year-old colt trotters the same night. And for more information, the schedule, standings, statistics, everything else you need to know about the OSS, visit OntarioSireStakes.com. So a field of 9 scheduled to go postward here in the upcoming 10th. There's a look at the field page, and we'll head up to Mark in a moment and see if there are indeed any changes. Mark, what are you hearing? Are we going to have a full field this time?
Well, just about to find out. I can pass along the order of finish from back there in the 8th, as we had mentioned. We've got the chart back there. So if you go back to the 8th qualifier, it was 468, 51, 237. That was the qualifier taken by Blue Bayou Deo in 2:03 and 1, the final quarter for that trotter. She was to 3/4 in 1:33 and 3, so a 29 and 3 final quarter to win it, rallying to take it. And then there in the 9th, there was no change in order all the way around. They stayed in their same spots, and they followed Grace, who stopped the clock in 2:02 and 1. We talked about her 29 and 2 final quarter, and she takes it by 2.5 lengths over her Grace K. And Resolving was third. She was the one of 2 that was debuting here today. And again, as we've mentioned many times with our coverage of the baby races, this week, last week, and in the past, got to keep your eye on those maybe several lengths back, because especially when they're debuting, you just want to get a good look at that body language, see how they finished up, and I think Resolving could be one that we could be wanting to keep an eye on come next week or when we do see her back in to qualify. So it was Grace taking it in 2:02 and 1. We'll try and pick up the changes here for the 10th of 12 as we will move back over to the pace for qualifier number 10.
All right, and there's Alex with his patented paddock shot, and I love those up-close shots of the individuals. You really can see the body language of the horse as they come out, how they're behaving. Most of them very athletic-looking individuals, and yeah, it's a great camera angle, and part of our enhanced coverage here this morning on COSA TV. The one we had a look at coming out was Shanghai Sealster, number 5. She's a Bettor's Delight filly, another one for Steve Heimbecker. And Team McNair entrusted with this filly, $150,000 yearling purchase from the London Selected sale last fall. The Dam Soiree Sealster, the Big Jim, as a filly, really was a standout in only 10 career starts. She was a 4-time winner, a multiple gold series winner, and banked $240,000 despite a brief 10-race career. This is her first foal, and they've teamed up with Bettor's Delight, and I think one of those that you would categorize as the highly anticipated debut efforts here today. Shanghai Sealster occupies post 5 in this field. Good looking group overall when you start diving into the pedigree here, Mark, and a few here that we'll want to have our first look at and get to know. But in the meantime, any more updates on changes here? It was to be a field of 9. Any late scratches from this one?
Yeah, we'll have a couple come out of this one. Number 7, Power of an Angel, and number 8, Graham's Lily. They're both scratched, and Louis Waugh will do the driving on number 6, Grin and Sin, for trainer Blake McIntosh. Those are the changes. So it's going to bring us down to a field of 7, and the starting gate is now rolling. So let's go right through the field as we get to set to watch a group of 2-year-old pacing fillies. Qualifier number 10, starting gate now rolling. Scratch the 7 and the 8. Louis Waugh drives 6, Grin and Sin. Number 1 is Big Cheddar. She's a daughter of Better Than Cheddar, owned by Mardon Stables, trained by Bruce McDonald. Phil Houdon will drive. $20,000 Ontario sale purchase. 2 is Lady O, Sunshine Beach filly, owned by M&L of Delaware, trained by Susie Kerwood. Jody Jameson at the lines. $30,000 Harrisburg buy. 3, Mary Keep On Burnin', Bettor's Delight filly. Pam Forgy trains. Bob McClure will drive. A $20,000 Lexington Select purchase. 4 is Twinkle in Her Eye, a Bettor's Delight filly owned by the stable. Johnny McKinnon trains. James McDonald drives. $32,000 Lexington purchase. 5 is Shanghai Sealster. She's a daughter of Bettor's Delight owned by Steve Heimbecker, trained by Greg McNair. Doug McNair drives. A $151,000 London yearling sale purchase. 6 is Grin and Sin. She's a daughter of Bettor's Delight owned by Hut Racing Stable, Blake McIntosh and John Dosey. McIntosh trains. Louis Philippe Waugh will do the driving. A $52,000 Lexington sale graduate. 7 and 8 are out, and number 9 is Lions Believer, owned by 3 Lions Racing. This Bettor's Delight filly is trained by Anthony Beaton. Sylvan Filion is in the sulky, a $33,000 Lexington Select purchase. So that's your field of 7 for the 10th qualifier. Number 7 and 8 are out. Louis Waugh drives the 6, Grin and Sin. Starting gate swings into the stretch. They're picking up speed, and here they come. And they're off and pacing. And a pretty even beginning here as we've got a few levers. We'll go to Twinkle in Her Eye at the inside, Shanghai Sealster, the next door neighbor, and Grin and Sin. So those 3 started from the center, and they shoot out towards the front in the early going. Caught on the outside is Lions Believer, who was trying to leave for a position up front, but everybody's really into the mix. Lady O is between horses, down to the inside, Big Cheddar, and the early trailer as they go around the first bend is Mary Keep On Burnin'. So 4 in and 3 out to the opening quarter in 31 seconds flat. So we're going to see how things shake out as they swing into the backstretch. Grin and Sin and Louis Waugh drive on, looking to get around Shanghai Sealster. They'll touch down on the front. That lead will likely be short-lived as Lady O is on the outside here for Jameson. So Lady O, who is yet to see the wood, is on the outside and will look to get around Grin and Sin. Right on her back, though, is Lions Believer. So the change of lead will continue to shuffle as they come up towards the half. Lady O now, your new leader, past the half in 102 and 1. As they go into the far turn, here's Lions Believer now, finally touching down on the front. So was on the outside for over half a mile, now has the lead as they go by 5/8. Lady O in second, Grin and Sin is in third. Shanghai Sealster back fourth, followed by Twinkle in Her Eye, Big Cheddar, and Mary Keep On Burnin'. We can run through that field one more time as they're single file going to 3/4. Lions Believer, Lady O, Grin and Sin to the outside, Shanghai Sealster, Twinkle in Her Eye, Big Cheddar, and Mary Keep On Burnin' at the rear, 131 and 3. They're into the stretch, and it is Lions Believer, the leader. Getting a little steppy in second is Lady O. Swinging to the outside, Grin and Sin will try and avoid that rival. Meanwhile, driving into second is Shanghai Sealster, and Shanghai Sealster is coming on quickly. Lions Believer with the lead. Shanghai Sealster rallying his Big Cheddar with a good final quarter. Coming to the edge of the tote board, this is Lions Believer to take it. Big Cheddar, a big final quarter, got second from Shanghai Sealster third, 2 minutes and 2/5.
Good tilt in qualifier number 10. It goes to Lions Believer, a Better's Delight filly, making her debut this morning, $33,000 yearling purchase. Anthony Beaton, who really had an excellent season in 2020, and you know he'll be looking forward to hopefully bigger and better things this season. He's got a good-looking youngster here. Nice long striding filly, gets it done. A Big Cheddar, Better Than Cheddar filly, rallies stoutly to pick up second over Shanghai Sealster, another of the Better's Delight fillies in the field. 2 minutes and 2, 58 and 1 back half, 28 and 4 on the end, and the fillies were sprinting pretty good over the final quarter mile, and I think the top three all looked pretty good in their own right. Big Cheddar, who rallied for second, didn't get a chance to talk much about this one, but the Better Than Cheddar filly is one that was making the debut, just a $20,000 yearling purchase in the field. Shanghai Sealster, of course, that high-priced yearling, and Lions Believer, one of the Better's Delight fillies of the field that ends up getting it done. Made that big move to the front despite parking a long way, and once she took over, never really seriously challenged in this spot. So another winner on the morning session for Sylvain Filion. As we move over to qualifier number 11 next, just 2 more left to go. Thank you again for tuning in this morning on COSA TV's live coverage, where we've had a little bit of everything weather-wise so far. There is your field scheduled to go postward here in the 11th. It will be a field of 9. And a good-looking group at that. So we will take another quick commercial break, and when we come back, we will update the rundown from race 10, take a look ahead to qualifier 11.
More. COSA TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking at your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers the sport from all angles with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com. and see what everyone is talking about.
Welcome back. 2 more left to go on this Friday morning. Welcoming all of our viewers tuning in from across North America today. And a field of 9 scheduled to go postward here, including 4 of the fillies who were in action 1 week ago. And one of those was number 2, Bikini Genie. She was a winner in 159 with a 27-3 final quarter on that morning. A Sunshine Beach filly from the Badlands Hanover mare, Pleasant Yet Bad. Blake McIntosh training Jody Jameson to do the driving. She is indeed back in to go and just stepping out onto the track, as is 3 Lions Euphoria. The number 7 Prohibition Legal is one that I'm interested in having a look at. A Big Jim filly from Catch a Wish. He was an excellent race mare for the Miller Farms back in her day, and has been a tremendous producer since then. Horses like Stellenbosch, Fancourt, Foot Soldier, they're regulars that we see racing at the highest levels here locally. And here's another one, daughter of Big Jim, that will be making just her second start. She was third in the debut effort a week ago with 27 and 2 final quarter speed. James McDonald will be looking for another winner here on this morning's program. So before we meet the field here, let's go back up to Mark with that rundown from Qualifier 10.
Seven, 6, 5, 3, 4, scratch. 1. That was Lions Believer, the winner. 2 minutes and 2/5. Opened up 4 lengths on them in the stretch. Ultimately crossed the line 2 lengths the vest in front of Big Cheddar. And for Big Cheddar, we were talking about that final quarter. Big Cheddar got down to 3/4 in 1:33 and 1. Goes a mile in 2 minutes and 4/5. So if I'm doing my math right there, 27 and 3 home. That's a good final quarter on a day like today. Also liked what I saw from Shanghai Sealster. Hustled out of there, got good position, and then was able to swing out and come home with a good final quarter as well. Just narrowly got nipped there for second. So we'll keep our eye on Big Cheddar and Shanghai Sealster, but ultimately, when you look at that line, you'll see Lions Believer got there first. Sylvain Filion driving for Anthony Beaton in 2 minutes and 2/5. So I'll just pick up the changes here for the 11th, and we'll pass those along in a moment.
All right, thank you, Mark. We'll rejoin you in a moment. Another, I think, intriguing one to look at here is number 8, L.A. Sealster, a shadow play filly, who is a sibling to the late Thinking Out Loud, the $1.9 million winner, past winner of the Pepsi North America Cup. Sealster Farms of Lucan have retained the ownership of this one, and you don't see that too often. Sealster Farms don't hang on to too many to race, so they've kept this one, and Greg McNair and Doug McNair are going to team up with this one this morning, that shadow play filly, as they get set to go behind the gate. And from my vantage point, it looks like there might be 1 or 2 scratches in here, but again, we'll go back up to Mark to give us that final update.
Yeah, gate about to open for the 11th. We're going to scratch number 5, Beyond the Sea. The rest of them will go forward. Travis Cullen will drive number 4, Stonebridge Thalia. And that appears to be all we've got for changes here in this 11th qualifier. So 1 more after this one, as there's 12 this morning, 14 tomorrow. And looks like now the fillies are going to line up. So let's go through the field with our version of a post parade here this morning. Starting gate rolling for the 11th qualifier. 2-year-old pacing fillies here. Travis Cullen will drive number 4, Stonebridge Dahlia. Number 5 is scratched. Here's the field. Number 1, Speak Your Mind, a daughter of Art Speak. Frank Cannon owns. Ian Moore trains. Tyler Moore will drive. $6,000 Lexington Select Buy. 2 is Bikini Genie. She's a daughter of Sunshine Beach, owned by Hut Racing Stable and Blake McIntosh. McIntosh, the conditioner. The reinsman's Jody Jameson, a $28,000 Harrisburg purchase. 3, Lions Euphoria is a daughter of Captain Treacherous, owned by 3 Lions Racing, trained by Tony Beaton. Sylvain Filion drive. $16,000 Harrisburg Buy. 4 is Stonebridge Dahlia, daughter of Better's Delight, owned by Travis Cullen, Ron Cullen, and Rachel Andrew. Jody Cullen trains. Travis Cullen will drive, a $34,000 London yearling sale purchase. 5 is out. 6 is Mara Lou, a Better Than Cheddar filly owned by Dr. Steve Taylor. Pam Forgy trains. Louis Waugh will drive. 7 is Prohibition Legal, a Big Jim filly owned and bred by Millar Farms, trained by Nick Gallucci. James McDonald steers. 8 is L.A. Sealster, a daughter of Shadow Play owned by Sealster Farms, trained by Greg McNair. Doug McNair drives. And number 9 is One Last Bet. She's a daughter of Betting Line, owned by Brenda Selwyn Waxman and Tess Waxman. The trainer driver is Isaac Waxman. Here's a $20,000 Lexington Selected Yearling Sale Graduate. Starting gate to the top of the stretch, it's a field of 8 2-year-old pacing fillies. Starting 8 picking up speed, and here they come. and the raw fan pacing. One Last Bet is firing from the outside and blasting out towards the early lead. Gets steppy though and rolls off stride. So One Last Bet got rocking just a little too much and rolls off stride. Bikini Genie to be the early leader. Speak Your Mind second, then racing in third. That is Prohibition Legal, followed fourth by Lions Euphoria as they go into the first bend. Racing in fifth, that is Lions Euphoria as we mentioned in fourth. Fifth is LA Sealster. Then we go back to Stonebridge Thalia, followed by Maraloo, and One Last Bet is going to get things settled down, and it'll be the trailer 8. The opening quarter was 28-2, fastest opening quarter of the morning, and that was courtesy of Bikini Genie, and we saw her post a victory a week ago. She leads it by a length and a half. They're backing it down here in the second quarter as you can see them start to get tightly packed up there as they get jammed up, especially in mid-pack. That might have affected a little bit LA Sealster. Stonebridge Thalia got moving, and she is rushing on the outside, now up into third. The half was 1 minute and 4/5. That's 1 minute and 4/5 for Bikini Genie as they go into the far bend, and Stonebridge Thalia was just coming so quickly. She rushes right up to the top, and Stonebridge Thalia, the better Light filly, now takes over control as they go by 5/8. Bikini Genie gets covered up for the far turn, racing in third, and out from third comes Speak Your Mind, then back in fourth. That is Prohibition Legal to the outside. Maraloo inside Lions Euphoria, followed by One Last Bet, and LA Sealster had some difficulties going to 3/4. Stonebridge Thalia there in 1:29-2. Speak Your Mind on the outside. These two into the stretch. Stonebridge Thalia and Speak Your Mind. Prohibition Legal in behind them might have something to say. Bikini Genie is now back there in fourth. 1/8 of a mile remaining. Stonebridge Thalia and Speak Your Mind. And now here comes Prohibition Legal on the outside looking to charge on by. It is Prohibition Legal on the outside shooting by late to take it. Prohibition Legal will get it by a length over Speak Your Mind, Stonebridge Thalia, and Bikini Genie. 1:57-2 for Prohibition Legal.
Well, it looks like the Miller Farms have another good one on their hands. Catch a Wish. She was a good one on the racetrack for George Miller, and she's produced nothing but winning racehorses. And here's one that's certainly getting off on the right foot. Prohibition Legal, eye-catching final quarter rally to win in 1:57-2 from off the pace on the off track this morning here at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Speak Your Mind, the Art Speak filly out for her second effort, finishing a good second for the Ian Moore stable. This one just a $6,000 yearling purchase. Looks like that is going to be a bargain, despite being a sibling to a good one in Veracity, a career winner of $830,000. She was second for the second consecutive week. Stonebridge Thalia, an improved effort, fourth in the debut last week, and a good third. Made that middle half move to the lead into the slowing pace and was just picked off for second right at the wire. Bikini Genie, a winner last week, has to settle for fourth here this morning on the more tiring going. So that certainly one of the most impressive efforts of the morning session. A measured victory there for Prohibition Legal, and another winner on the card for James McDonald. Nick Gallucci, as mentioned, a primary conditioner now for the Miller Farms, who look like they are in store for a very lucrative season here on the circuit. One more left to go this morning, 12th and final. Another field of pacers set to go postward. 9 of them in total will line up behind the starting gate here in the finale. So let's take another quick commercial and be back to wrap things up from Woodbine Mohawk Park.
By now, you know the name COSA TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA TV, taking Ontario racing global.
Own a little and love it a lot. Thestable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. Thestable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at thestable.ca.
And here is the finale on this Friday morning, welcoming you back once again to live coverage on COSA TV. 9 two-year-old filly pacers will face the gate in this 12th and final. And it is starting to drizzle once again. So, yeah, it's really having trouble making its mind up, Mother Nature, what she wants to do here this morning. We've had rain. It looks like it's going to clear up and warm up, and back in comes the wind and rain once again. So it's made it a little bit tricky and a bit of a test, an added test of the elements for the young performers here who are getting the experience of coming out and racing at this venue and against other rivals and in behind the starting gate, many for the first time. Here's a look at the number 3, Better Be Sawyer, and it looks like James McDonald will pick up the drive on this one for today's finale. She was third here a week ago in the debut effort. Harry Polton trains this daughter of Better Than Cheddar from Dream Fair Orchid, the lightly raced Dream Fair Orchid, and this one is owned by the stable Better Be Sawyer of Guelph. Dream Fair Orchid has produced some pretty good performers on this circuit, including the likes of Dream Fair BJ. Almost 300,000 on that one's card. Number 8, American Ticket, will be coming back and looking for an improved effort for the Blake McIntosh stable. Finished 8th last time, but had a miscue early that really took her out of the race. So she will look for massive improvement here this morning. And she's an American Ideal sister to Free Flying Ticket, who's been a good one on this circuit for trainer Anthony Beaton. American Ticket, owned by Hot Racing. The Blake and Aussie stables, Aussie McKay shares in the ownership with this. The Mortgage Boys stables, Robert McNeil. So a large ownership group on this one, and they'll all be looking for a better result here this morning. So it is scheduled to be a field of 9. Let's head up to Mark and see if he's got the rundown from that 11th and any changes here as we get closer to them going behind the gate.
Well, quickly pass along the changes for this one. Scratching number 2, Bob McClure drives the 1, and James McDonald on the 3. But let's go through that rundown from the 11th. It was 2, 4, 6, 3 scratch, 5, 1, 8, 7. The winner was Prohibition Legal, was sitting 4th, 3 lengths off the lead at 3/4. That's a final quarter of 27-2 to take it impressively for Millar Farms, Nick Gallucci, and driver James McDonald. Starting gate now open for the 12th. Time to meet the field. Twelfth and final baby race on this Friday at Woodbine Mohawk Park. We approach the noon hour, and we'll finish this up here this morning. Number 1, Arkell, will be driven by Bob McClure. Number 2 is scratched. Number 3, Better Be Sawyer. The driver will be James McDonald. Inside out, 1 Arkell, Sunshine Beach filly, owned by Eileen Waples, Barbara Lennox, Shady Hill Racing Stable, trained by Greg McNair. Bob McClure drives, $93,000 London purchase. 2 is out. 3 is Better Be Sawyer, Better Than Cheddar filly, owned by the stable, trained by Harry Polton. James McDonald drives, $15,000 hoof bid purchase. 4, Just Call Me Song, sports writer filly, owned by 1876472 Ontario Inc., Louis-Philippe Waugh, Michael Letard, and Jean Allaire, trained by Eric Nadeau. Louis Waugh drives, $30,000 Ontario buy. 5 is Delight by Yama, a Better's Delight filly, Owned and bred by Bayama Farms. John Tourney trains Sylvan filly on drive. 6 is Classic Venus, a Sunshine Beach filly. Owned and bred by Brad Grant. Scott McInerney trains Doug McNair drive. 7 is Flow, a Shadow Play filly. Owned by Wilma and James McKenzie. Trained by Ian Moore. Dale Spence drives. $42,000 Ontario purchase. 8 is American Ticket, an American Ideal filly. Owned by Hut Racing Stable. Blake and Aussie Stables. Mortgage Boys Stable. And Robert McNeil, trained by Blake McIntosh. Jody Jameson drives. $37,000 Lexington buy. And 9 is Maroon Sealster, a State Treasurer filly. Owned by Donna and James Fraley, trained by Isabel Darvaux. Robert Shepard will drive. $14,000 London purchase. So we wrap it up with a field of 8, and the 2-year-old pacing fillies are sent on their way. And there goes Flo, charging out of there along with American Ticket. Those two from the outside surge out to the top in the early going. Delight Bayama will get away in 3rd. 4th is Better Be Sawyer, and then 5th is Arkell, followed by Just Call Me a Song, who will be tracked by Maroon Sealster, and Classic Venus is the trailer 8th. Around the first turn they go, and it's American Ticket, the daughter of American Ideal, leading it by 2 lengths, opening quarter, 28-4. On to the backstretch they'll go, and they're spaced out a little bit here following American Ticket. Second qualifier for her. She made a miscue last week. This week she's put on the front. She's looking good on that lead. Flo will track from 2nd. 2 lengths back then to Delight Bayama in 3rd. 4th is Better Be Sawyer, followed 5th by Arkell. 6th up the backside, Just Call Me Song. And then we go back to Maroon Sealster and Classic Venus. Approaching the midway point, American Ticket by 1.5 lengths over Flo. The half is hit in 1 minute and 2/5. On to the far turn they'll go. American Ticket, Flo in 2nd. Delight Bayama is 3rd. 4th is Better Be Sawyer. 5th is Arkell. Racing in 6th is Just Call Me Song. Then it's back to Maroon Sealster and Classic Venus, the trailer. 5/8 now complete. American Ticket has been showing the way, and they're following American Ticket to 3/4. Flo has been right behind her since the word go. 2.5 lengths back to Delight Bayama 3rd. 4th is Better Be Sawyer. Then we go back to Just Call Me Song, who gets around Arkell. 3/4, 130 flat, 29-3 in the 3rd quarter. They're into the stretch, and it's American Ticket looking to go all the way. Flo in 2nd, Delight Bayama 3rd, and then back to 4th is Better Be Sawyer. 16th remaining. It's still American Ticket. Here's Flo with the late push to the outside, but it's American Ticket to take the finale. Flo finishes 2nd, and then 3rd went to Delight Bayama over Better Be Sawyer. Just Call Me Song 5th, 158-1 for American Ticket.
So capping off the Friday morning session, it is American Ticket with a nice bounce back effort. She broke in the early stages last week, finishing 8th in that initial week of qualifying today. Much different scenario, good gate speed, got herself up on the front end and responded well to the late challenge of Flo, who took a bit of a run at her in the home stretch. Holds that one off for the 158-1 victory. Flo lapped on 2nd. Good effort from that one in the 28-1 final quarter. Delight Bayama, the homebred for Bayama Farms, will get up for the 3rd spot in this finale. 57-4 back half speed as well, and a 2nd winner on the day for Jody Jameson, another winner for trainer Blake McIntosh. So that is going to wrap up our opening day of the 2nd weekend of baby race action from Mohawk Racetrack. So in typical fashion at this time of year here in Canada, you never know what you're going to get weather-wise. We had a beautiful opening weekend. Today it is damp and a little bit windy and cooler temperatures, and the track conditions certainly coming into play today. But nice job by the crew to have the track as good as they could under the circumstances. And again, it is supposed to clear up, and we hope we'll be playing on close to a fast track by the time we get ready for tonight's pari-mutuel program. So again, we want to welcome you back. We're live trackside. We're at a different location here than we were last week, and this is our typical COSA TV location when we are broadcasting live here. So nice to have this beautiful Mohawk Park venue to be able to present baby race action for you today. Some impressive performances, and we'll check in with Mark here in a moment to recap a little bit of that. And we'll look forward, of course, to tomorrow when the Colts will take center stage. 2-year-olds will be back with Trotters and Pacers tomorrow. Going to be a very busy morning with 14 races scheduled to go. And as alluded to earlier, the weather forecast looking a lot better. So we anticipate some good performances here tomorrow as well. Mark, welcome back. And again, let's just assess today's performances. We talked earlier, I Love On Gate kind of caught our eye in the first half. And then in the second half, was there one or two in particular that really grabbed your attention?
I think I got to go with Prohibition Legal there from, I believe that was back in the 11th qualifier. That was our second last one on the morning, and this one homebred for the Millar Farms, and they've been turning out some real quality horses, obviously for quite some time, but in the last couple of years here when they come to the track, they're making a statement. And Nick Gallucci, his barn has been doing very well since the restart, and here this morning looked good. I mean, this is a pacing filly that's a daughter of Big Jim, and if you go back and watch the replay, I think James McDonald kind of waited as long as he could before he finally fanned her out about 3 wide there with 1/8 of a mile to go, maybe even a little less, and she just stormed on home, a 27-2 final quarter. So that'll certainly catch your attention, but overall I think what we saw was you really can't predict what the conditions are going to be like. You would have thought maybe the track would, as you mentioned, deteriorate a little bit, might get a little heavy, but yet we saw some pretty good miles on the end of it. So the rookies found a way to get through it, and it wraps up what overall I think was a pretty strong morning once again.
Yeah, and you know, it just goes to show too, don't read too much into the first start for some of these, because we had some come back this week who raced a week ago in the debut. Some made mistakes, some just kind of raced evenly and weren't pushed too hard, and then stepped up a lot today. So it's really important, right, Mark? Especially when you're waiting, if you're going to be playing the races, for example, when these horses make their debuts, really critical to have a look at these first couple of baby races. You've got to consider the weather conditions, and then you've got to consider you know, that step up from, say, week 1 to week 2, and how they finish their mile is very important.
Yeah, it really is. And again, replays, I would say, are certainly a horse player's best friend when you get to watch some of these back. And for those of you that are with us all morning long, like I said back during the break earlier today, you just kind of got to watch some of those horses that are maybe several lengths back, because especially some right now that have already gone a mile last week and they're back here for the second time around, they seem to have a bit more of an agenda. You saw a few of those horses this morning that last week you know, sat mid-pack or sat near the back, and they just kind of went an even mile. You saw them put forward today, and that's exactly what you'd expect, a more aggressive approach that second time around. So that might leave a debuting horse, you know, maybe 10 lengths back coming up to the half. Well, it's pretty hard to make up 10 lengths, especially on a day like today, so just watch to see how they finished up. So we'll keep our eye tomorrow. It looks like from the forecast, Greg, that we're going to have much better conditions tomorrow. Seems to be plenty of sun, and obviously it's June, so like you said, and it is Canada, you never know what you're going to get, but tomorrow might play a little more favorable for more even conditions.
Absolutely. No golf, no beach today, I don't think, for either of us, but hey, we'll look forward to the live program tonight, and of course a big card again tomorrow night, and more baby races here tomorrow as well. Mark and I will both be back with you for complete coverage of that again starting at 9:15. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hope to see you again tomorrow morning. So long from Woodbine, Mohawk Park.
By now, you know the name COSA TV, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. COSA TV has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. COSA TV, taking Ontario racing global.